Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. We're here for the Weebs of the Ring, presented by Anima Weebs Studio. Welcome to the spin-off channel of Anima Weebs Studio for episode 72, premium live event coverage of Bad Blood 2024. And if you saw the pay-per-view, you saw the excitement, the final boss, Jimmy Uso. Sorry guys, it's not Jimmy, it's The Rock. He has returned. And then we have Cody, Rhodes, Roman Reigns has beaten the Bloodline. They took out Solo Sikoa and Jake Alpha 2 with the help of Jimmy. We get the classic match of a Hell in a Cell with Drew McIntyre and CM Punk. But then we get the announcement of a Crown Jewel Championship belt of men's and women's. We're going to talk about it, how we feel. Is it ugly? And Damian Priest versus Finn Bálor. How did it go? Were you underwhelmed? Were you entertained by this? Could have gone a lot better. And then our last two conversations of the night is the Women's World Title of Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley and Nia Jax versus Bayley. A lot of things happen for tonight, and it's going to be a huge conversation. So without further ado, are you excited for the Stampede and to actually talk about the final boss return? Let's get to it.
Lots of wrestling out of control. We are a trio of weebs who love the entertainment of professional wrestling. So, tonight, for one night only, or 2 nights, or 3 nights only, allow us to be the voices inside of your head as we go through the wrestling event of the evening, give our thoughts and predictions on what's to come, and provide an experience inclusive to all nerds out there. So be sure to grab your steel chair, yell for the table, and get put through an experience unlike any other. Brought to you, of course, by Animal We Studio. This is the Weebs of the Ring podcast. Tonight, our lovely sponsor of KFC gave us a bunch of chicken to eat and devour as we went into a night filled with bad blood, some bad feuds going on, and bad as in good. You know, everybody just hates each other and all that, but a lot of blood feuds, a lot of stuff going on. We're here to talk about it, but who are we exactly? Well, of course, as always, I am your world champion Watkins. Apologies having to miss last night. I was out partying hard as any champion would be, but as always, I am joined by my 2 lovely co-hosts. Of course, on my top right, we have the legend himself, Vash. Vash, how you doing tonight?
Man, it's great to be here. The visionary that we said it. We told you The Rock will be returning, but we got the man himself, Jimmy Uso, return. I love it for the night. Can't wait to talk about the greats, the good, the bad, the cons, and the bloodiness of Halloween of October.
Oh, yeah. Oh my gosh, yes. Especially for spooky month. We got all this blood, and who better to help us process all those spooky things than none other than the guy to my left, the genius of the mat. Drop this box. Drop how you doing tonight, buddy.
Oh, I'm doing pretty good. The show was pretty good. Joker 2 sucked, but we're gonna be talking about Bad Blood though. So
yeah.
Excited to get into this. Really excited.
All right, well, hold on. Question then, since Joker 2 sucked, and spoiler alert for conversations that are about to be had in the future, was anything as bad or worse than Joker 2 tonight?
No.
No.
Okay, good. All right. So that means Joker 2 is the worst thing ever. Anyways,
yeah.
Moving on then. Oh my gosh. So yeah, let's go ahead and talk about our card, and we're going to talk about our main event first and foremost, because there's a lot to talk about, a lot to dissect from this. We had Cody Rhodes, we had Roman Reigns tag teaming together, first time ever, quote unquote. Maybe? I don't know. I have to look back on that. They were taking on the bloodline of Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu.
I believe Michael Cole did say it was first time ever.
Then it was first time ever. And
Oh yeah.
they had all right match. Match was all right, but a lot of the talking points are kind of come from the ending of it all and everything. But yeah, let's kind of dive into this, because like we had some band introductions going on, which I thought sounded excellent. Like we had the marching band from the University of Arkansas. We had the Georgia Philharmonic playing in Roman Reigns. These entrances had some aura to them, as the kids like to say nowadays.
Oh yeah, definitely for sure. I mean, you can really feel the intensity, especially when it comes to 1A and 1B, because this kind of reminds me of like all those years ago during the Attitude Era where you had the Stone Cold and The Rock being like top guy 1A, top guy 1B, and that's obviously clear as day how it is in the world of WWE nowadays with Cody and Roman. So it makes the perfect sense in the world for both of these guys to get, you know, special entrances. And at first, when I heard Cody's entrance, because I was talking about it at Walk-ins, I don't know what it is on my Peacock, but it was like really staticky and it was like overplaying. Like I heard it on like it's almost like you have multiple tabs open on your computer. I heard it like 5 to 6 times at once. So that's why it caught me off guard. I'm not entirely sure what was going on my Peacock, but I really liked it though. I thought it fit very well. I mean, you gotta applaud them for actually going viral and actually being able to do this for Cody. So you know that's really big for them. And it really just tells you that, you know, these are, you want to talk about final bosses like Mr. Dwayne Johnson that we'll talk about a little bit later. Definitely when it comes to Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes, I mean, if you're playing like Elden Ring or you're playing Wukong, whatever, and you hear their entrances, you obviously know that, you know, this is some serious shit we're about to get into.
Well, like the crazy part is because I mean we had gotten the reports, the news reports that, you know, Cody was going to have this marching band play him in. I had no idea we were getting the Georgia Philharmonic part of Roman's entrance. Like, and in a way too, it kind of reminded me of or at least kind of a playful nature, I guess, if you could think of it. Where it's just like, oh, Cody's gonna have a marching band play him in. I'm gonna get a full on orchestra then. Like he's not better than me. He's not gonna get the special entrance. I'm the OTC. I deserve something. I deserve it all. And of course, you know, Temu Bloodline gets their usual entrance.
I kind of wish they went out on their own. Like I kind of wish Solo went on his own, and then Jacob Fatu can go out on his own. Because I mean, if Cody and Roman are getting their own, it's not like they're doing like a little dubstep remix between like Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns, so they're both playing their songs at the exact same time. I'm not sure if you guys noticed, but they actually did botch with Cody's entrance at first, where like they played the beginning of it, and then they ended up doing it again. Like I don't know if The Rock decided to like you know, pull Cody to the side earlier, offer him some Slim Jims or something like that before he went out on the stage or whatever, before his song plays. Like, wait, Cody, I got to give you some Slim Jims or something, or like some sponsor for something. Maybe you're trying to give him his recipe for his special French toast. But
maybe, I mean, well, that's the thing. That's the thing with like Slim Jims, and especially like before a match, you really got to, you know, protein load right before a match. You know,
like, but that is one thing I did notice. But like I said though, I want to hear the Jacob Fatu entrance, man, because we know this guy is going to be a big deal. We know he's going to be one of the top players in the division later on. That's why I'm really excited that they didn't give away too much when it came to Jacob Fatu versus Cody and Jacob Fatu versus Roman Reigns, because we know that's going to be big matches for him. So I'm happy they just played with it a little bit. Obviously, we'll get into it in just a few minutes, but I'm glad we didn't get entirely spoiled.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, like especially with like keeping Jacob, mainly Jacob Roman for me, like keeping them kind of separated, but like physical enough where we're still wanting more, you know. And it's especially with like Jacob's side too, because like you don't want him to be so far over Roman, but again, he is the wild card, if you will.
Oh yeah, definitely, for sure.
But like into the match too, it's like the match, I don't know, for me the match started very slow, and I know that's 100%. Kind of that's like par for the course when it comes to like especially a Roman Reigns main event and all that. But like I wonder if Vash, did you feel that way? Because, you know, it sounds like me and Drop are kind of on the same mindset, but I'm curious, you know, you being the optimist here, that's why, you know, you're like, you're the proverbial angel on my shoulder, as you were.
We gotta get Vash's own belt, man, saying I'm optimistic.
So would you say I'm the wise man out here?
I don't know.
I mean, I called you an angel.
I don't know about that. You're trying to be professional Tony and Powerpuff Girls, man.
I'm about to say, sometimes I do give spoilers, and I am the visionary, so if I'm like, hey, I don't mind the compliment of Mr. Paul Heyman. He has a good record so far, so if I'll take that compliment to myself.
Better be paying you good money.
Definitely for
Right.
sure. But I would say that quick thoughts of what you guys said. I agree that the music of the orchestra was really amazing. Beautiful opportunity for the gals and girls to have had this opportunity, because I know they could put this on a resume and everything. This was a beautiful opportunity to sing from WWE and have this chance. It was really dope. I really loved the outfit slash the wardrobe that Cody Rhodes wear. It was a bit different than his usual bright white that he wears.
Oh yeah.
This was more
Yeah.
like a hot red. It reminds me of our boy
Yeah.
Tony Stark when he chose his Iron Man color scheme. He started his Hot Wheels car, and then he like, you know what, I'm gonna go hot red, and that's what it reminded me of, the blood red on the color of Cody Rhodes. We also have the picture online of his wife Brandy was there also watching this. She like, I don't know about this, so it was a cool moment
Maybe.
just to see that Brandy was there, and how they hyped this up, that this is Atlanta, the home of Roman and Cody, and you know what it means for them. You know, with Roman for his college years in the football, and for Cody for like his hometown in Earth. So it was pretty hope to see that. And how the match started, it was pretty. I wasn't slow. I would say that it was, they're going by the beat by the number. They was trying to set things up. Like I believe Watkins said it in our chat on our Discord of the POE, saying that they're smart of how Cody was going against Jacob, Roman was going against Solo. Not a lot of times was Roman going against Jacob Fatu. They weren't seeing eye to eye in a lot of the rounds, so I really didn't notice that it was keeping them away from each other. So it was really smart. They only had Jacob a few times go, you know, behind the back of Roman to take him out, so Cody couldn't tag in. But was the match slow? I feel like it was more of a setup, so to have each other, you know, go for the hot tag, you know, get each other for the build up and everything. It was a B. And by the way, I gotta give props to Roman. This man, at his first match after WrestleMania, looking this good. This man was in God mode again. Like I felt like he was as good working out. His six pack was showing out. I couldn't tell who was good right now. Was it Finn Balor or our boy Roman tonight?
Yeah, he was posted.
I would give
he
it
did.
to Finn.
Yeah, because I do recall Roman posting a video of him working out on IG, I believe.
Yeah.
Or it could have been TikTok. Can't remember which one it was, but I did see him definitely getting in shape and everything. So obviously, you know, Roman had a lot of time to plan this out, which is really nice to see. But like I get why the match like started slow and everything like that, because you got to keep in mind, you know, these two guys are trying to tell a story in the ring, because one of the things you got to pay attention to the most is not just the match itself, but also they're trying to tell a story in the ring itself when it comes to Cody, Roman, Solo, and Jacob Fatu. So obviously they're going to want to build up to certain moments that we saw throughout the match. So I definitely understand that part, because, you know, that's just the part of wrestling that we love the most, is the whole story behind it. That's what gets you super invested, which is something that I always love to talk about on here, because if you're not telling a story, you know, you're not going to really get me super invested. You could do a whole bunch of flips, a whole bunch of suplexes and stuff, but you got to give something to pull me in. You can't be like Joker and just leave me empty-handed when I leave the movie theater.
oh, this is gonna be fun then.
Oh,
if we're gonna
okay.
drop Joker lines,
Oh,
it's gonna be
shit.
great.
Okay.
You know what, like, and that's the thing, it's just like part of this too kind of felt like a house show in a way, like especially with like Cody and Roman's interactions. Like it seems
Yeah.
just like the way they were playing with the crowd and all that, it felt like a house show. But like I mean that in a good way, because it's like I love when they kind of milk the crowd a little bit. I always appreciate, because like again, it makes it feel lived in. It feels like they're like the crowd is part of the show and all that. You know, you don't just have to go to some side show, you know, doing these side missions, as Vash likes to point it sometimes.
yeah.
Like, no, we're getting that stuff on a PLE and everything. But Cody took a lot of damage in this match too. Like, he was the boy that was taking all the hits. He was the boy that was like taking all just like the damage and all that. And there were a few times I thought he was going to get the hot tag. He didn't. Like the one time that just pops in my mind, Jacob just like yanks Roman off the apron. And it's like
Oh, yeah.
the timing of it too. Like I think that's the biggest thing with Jacob Fatu is his timing with a lot of this stuff, whether it's moves or what he says or his mannerisms. Like his timing is impeccable when it comes to like being in the ring or doing any other segment. Like that's what makes him so good, and that's what
Mhm.
makes him stand out far beyond those in his bloodline.
I also want to throw out something that we mentioned in the notes that I also commented in on our chat on our Discord server, which should have
Mhm.
checked that out, by the way, if you want to interact with us. But
Yes.
what Roman, like, one of the things that he did was that crucifix, like
Oh,
like
Oh,
the things
yeah.
that really the thing that really were you trying to kiss him now, Bash?
I was just like, oh,
Gotta chill out
like
there,
chef's
buddy. I
kiss.
realize
he's trying
Chef's
to
kiss. Chef's kiss. It was beautiful.
he's trying
the
to kiss the
crucifix.
I
title.
mean,
Oh,
He's trying to
maybe,
kiss
maybe
the title
Roman
that he
maybe
wants.
I don't know, maybe Roman wants some pancakes with cheese on it. Maybe Roman wants some pancakes on
Oh,
cheese
maybe
on
he
it. Maybe we can
does.
make him a nice meal.
About to say,
But
very
like
good.
but anyways, like when we get to like moves like that, it's it hits different when you see somebody that normally doesn't do stuff like that. Like
Hmm.
whenever we see Roman, he does a lot of these power moves. And when you
Yep.
see Roman do something like that, it completely catches you off guard. You're like, I never really expected Roman to do something like that. So it was actually pretty interesting to see that showcase in the match. I mean, I'm still waiting for the
Hmm.
day to see Cody do a moonsault again. Maybe he's trying to play it safe. I actually thought he was going to do
Yeah.
that tonight on Jacob Out too, to be perfectly honest.
Oh, that would have been
But
sick.
yeah. But
That-
yeah, I did like that spot. That I'm not saying like the spot was anything crazy or anything. It's just interesting to
Mhm.
see Roman, take out his bag of tricks and actually do something different.
Yeah. Well, especially like a Roman now, like post championship, because there was a time where people were saying, oh, Roman's matches are getting stale. He's just doing a lot of
Yeah.
the same power moves and all that. It's just like now we're starting to see just what made him good in the first place. And it
Yeah.
has a lot to do with his innovation, you know? Like
Yeah.
I thought when he got into that, I thought it was gonna turn into like a crucifix bomb or whatever, where it's like
Yeah,
they
that's
kind of
what I
like
thought too.
harsh. Because like it was his
Yeah.
momentum that he was like getting onto
Yeah.
there. I'm like, oh, he's gonna do that, and just like no, just simple little crucifix. I'm like, oh, that's still cool, but oh man, I
You
thought it was
know
gonna be
that
something
you know what that
different.
kind of reminded me of? I'm not entirely sure what the name of the move is. And
Hmm.
it was a match that Cody had. I'm not sure who the opponent was. And I know it wasn't KO, it was someone else. But you remember when Cody did a move where like he wrapped I'm forgetting what match this was, but maybe maybe one of you guys can remember. You remember when Cody was
Hmm.
going up against somebody and he wrapped his arms around somebody and then he like planted him on the back? You know what I'm talking about?
I think.
It sounds familiar. I
Where
just
it's like,
I
can't
do.
pinpoint where it was. It
Yeah.
sounds familiar. I'm like, damn.
So pretty much like Cody grabbed somebody and he was like, and
Mhm.
he like spun around. He was holding him on their back like this. Let's say, for example, I had Vash and Vash's legs was up in the air and then his head was like down by my back and then I was slamming down on the ring. You know what that move is?
Oh, was it with
Or
AJ
you guys
Styles in their
think so.
in their
Yeah,
first
no,
match?
no, yeah,
Yeah,
it was
might have been
AJ Styles. Like, yeah, I think it
Because
was AJ
'cause
Styles.
I
I'll have to
remember
go back. I'll have to
Yeah.
go back and
I remember him doing over there something AJ Styles because in his first match, I
Yeah.
remember I was being shocked about the stuff
Mhm.
that he pulled out that he haven't done in a while. So it
Yeah.
probably was the match
Yeah.
with AJ Styles.
yeah, I'll have to go back and see exactly what that move is.
Mhm.
But that's what it kind of reminded me of with Roman. It's just stuff that they didn't really pull out that much. That's why I wanted to bring up the whole thing with Cody just to make a little comparison.
Oh yeah. Well, and see that's actually cool that you brought up Cody like that, because it's like it kind of shows that the two are learning from each other, or like taking stuff
Yeah.
from each other, because it's like,
Yeah,
Cody's somebody who will like he has a deep bag of tricks that he can get into. And I mean,
yeah.
again, Roman being more of the power person, it's like he's not gonna have a lot of stuff because he doesn't really need to do a lot of stuff, because it's like especially when you take into consideration like the hot tag that he got, You know, I mean, a lot of his hot tag spots are just like the jumping clotheslines and all that stuff. And then like once he gets, you know, his special meter up, it's time to spam Superman punches and spears and all that. So, but yeah, that is a nice touch right there, because like he did seem like he was on a different level tonight.
Oh yeah,
That
definitely
proverbial
for sure.
God mode. Hmm.
Mm.
Tony, he was in God mode.
Exactly.
I will
Now
say,
I did see this because I think this was you, Vash, that put this with like the count out DQ thing with like the chairs and all that.
yeah. So in my head, because if anybody don't know, this is the same ref that was the referee of night one of WrestleMania. And if anybody don't remember, The Rock and Roman Reigns bullied the shit out of him. So in my head, I never remember this match being like no DQ or anything like that or announced. It was just a tag match between Solo and Jacob Fatu. Like never was set Bloodline rules. So when they was going outside the ring, I never heard the ref doing a count out once, or even when Jacob Fatu was throwing chairs or when they were doing something outside the ring. So like, is the referee not saying anything because he's the same guy that really like got shit talk from Roman saying like, this is my house, you're my ref, you work for me, I'll tell you what to do, so don't count out. I still you don't count out. So I'm like, most likely that's what happened because I was so thrown off about this that the ref didn't say nothing.
I mean, I honestly think the whole point of that was like, hey, this is the main event. We're just gonna let shit fly. That's how I really took it, because you got to look at it. This is Cody and Roman teaming up, so obviously you want to make that moment very special. So when it comes to stuff like that, it's like, you know what, they're not gonna really follow through with like, oh, you got a chair, oh, you're out of the ring for so long. It's like, probably want to give something for the fans to enjoy and not really look into it that much. So
I hope Michael Cole would have used a little twist on that line of what I said, like, hey, probably the same ref. Like he said it throughout the matches. Like he announced each ref and what they're wearing and everything, even though the camera was barely used this time. But
they did nothing. They did nothing with the ref cam.
No, you know what they're gonna do? They're gonna post it on the social media side. Any clip that they recorded, they're gonna post it a couple of days later. Say, so this is what the ref caught. Here's from this angle, because they did that a couple months later, I believe, in CM Punk match, or a match that CM Punk was refereeing, or somebody, or I think Seth Rollins was doing the ref cam.
Yeah, Seth was doing that.
So I believe that's what they did a couple of days ago. I mean, a couple of days after as well. But overall, if they could have used that twist of the ref being the same one from night one, being bullied from The Rock and Roman, so that's why it worked for tonight. Either way, still works for me being a main event or the ref being a pussy overall.
Yeah. And like I think my thing with the ref cam is like, it's one thing with Seth being the ref and having the ref cam and then uploading that, but then it's another to have just like the little dorky ref there, just like, I'm a little ref. Like the only interesting thing I can think of is maybe the Rhea Ripley stuff, and like in that match.
Oh yeah.
Because wait. All right, I'm gonna save most of that talk for then. But like in this match, it's like, okay, how much are they would they show from that footage? So I'm just like,
I'm gonna be upfront with you guys. I'm not really a big fan of the whole ref cam thing. I think it's like just kind of whack, to be honest. Like, I'm fine just watching it the way it is. I don't really need to see it from the ref's perspective. I mean, yeah, it's a cool thing, seeing people up close and see what's going on in real time. But it's like, I mean, I'll be fine if they don't do it. It's not going to really affect me in any way or shit.
Yeah.
So. And plus, I can't imagine how awkward it is for the ref to carry like a whole little dinghy in their ear for a little camera, type of perspective. Yeah. So it's like a weird angle too. I was gonna ask you a question though. How did you guys feel of the salute that our boy Cody Rhodes did to Roman when he went to jump from the top rope to attack our boy Jacob Fatu, our mascot, to the ground at the announce table? How do you feel about the salute, like, paying homage to something they did, a couple months ago and everything?
Wait, what do you mean paying homage?
remember when Cody did the salute, like to like to Roman being in the ring. So like, how did you
Yeah.
guys feel about the salute overall? Like of just him doing
Oh, that. I mean, it was just a gesture, really. Just it's
Yeah,
more
I
of
mean,
just him just being like, all right, hey, buddy, I got this guy. You finish it, like just kind of that
yeah,
thing,
yeah,
you know,
exactly.
like
I think, yeah, you explained it. Yeah,
yeah,
you explained it well. That's basically what it was. Like, it wasn't any
yeah,
deeper meaning. Like he was trying to figure out what the Krabby Patty secret formula is or some shit like that.
yeah,
But I mean, it was pretty much just saying like, hey, we realize Jacob Fatu legitimately is the real threat within the match itself when it comes to the opponents that we're going up against. So obviously
yeah,
Cody doing the crossbody on him to just take him out and plant him and take him out on the table and everything. I mean, makes perfect sense. Yeah, I got this
yeah.
guy out of the way, so finish off Solo in the ring.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, this kind of summoned the Tongas to come out,
Yeah,
which is kind of funny. I like how like we get the dismissal from Cole like earlier in the night, being like, "Oh yeah, they had a ladder match last night. They got beaten up. The one got put through a table. It's like they're not gonna be here tonight, right?" It's like Michael. First of all, we got to talk about Michael Cole's commentary tonight.
Oh, he
Oh,
was
yeah.
solid tonight.
He was mixing it. He was he no, he was mixing up a lot of people and a lot of things, and like lucky for Corey, just kind of backtrack him a little bit, be like, wait, hold on, Cole, it was actually this, and he's just like, oh
yeah.
wait, shoot, like there was one match in particular, he was
Excuse me.
really kind
Oh
of
yeah,
like
the Nia and Bayley.
yeah
Oh,
he
yeah.
was
It's a
he was
disaster.
not in it.
But overall for
Yeah.
this match, he was good. So that's why I said like he was solid. He was solid in this match. He didn't miss too many steps compared to the other matches that he did, because I did notice that. But for this match, he was solid enough to actually get back on track. I don't know what it was. He probably just had a bad night, bad day. Probably got mixed up in his notes, just on the emotion
Yeah.
spiral. Who knows? So overall, I hope that he gets back in that. Like, hopefully he doesn't think if they had a bad day. Hopefully he doesn't think about it to himself, because I know he's been in the game for 20 years. So hopefully he doesn't stress about it too much, because it was very noticeable. But hopefully he doesn't beat himself too much about it, because, hey, he put the passion in it.
Mhm. Oh yeah, of course. But Cody, you and me need to have a talk, because here, let me tell you something really quick, Cody, about our mascot Jacob Fatu. Like, he may
Oh, here
seem
we
like a
go.
very, very nasty individual, very angry individual, somebody that will hurt you very, very greatly. However, he is a very loving person. He loves to give hugs, and that's all he's trying to do to you, Cody. So don't move out of the way when he's trying to give you a big old running hug, because you're just gonna cause mass hysteria, mass chaos, and mass destruction, because the man's gonna run into a wall. Like, just let him hug you. It'll be fine. You might break a rib or two, but hey, it's
Mm.
sacrifices have to be made.
Oh yeah. So
But
should we talk about one of the special surprises that we got out of here? Because I'm actually
oh yes,
pretty excited to talk about this, and do you
dude.
guys also clarify what my excitement entails.
Mm,
We got the return of Jimmy Uso tonight, which I was expecting to see within this match
yep.
itself. I mean, it was calling for it. We know it was going to happen sometime towards the end of the year. Either it was here, Crown Jewel, I think, was pushing it. So I feel like probably right here is probably
Mm-hmm.
the best time to do it. And it made perfect sense that he came back. And I'm glad that the way they did it, where he showed up like he normally does, all masked up and everything, and he attacked Tama Tonga, which I liked that he did that, because obviously, that's going to be the first person that he's after, considering he's the main reason, one of the main reasons why he got taken out to begin with once he got introduced to the Bloodline to begin with. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
glad to see Jimmy back. I'm glad that we are building that story with the Bloodline. I mean, that's something I was really looking forward to see, is exactly like, okay, what is Roman going to do now? Because we obviously know this isn't the end of the whole Bloodline story between Roman and the Bloodline itself. So who else is going to factor in to help out Roman? And then Jimmy came back. They had a nice moment between each other, which I really did like. I did think that was a very good moment.
Yeah.
And very excited to see where this leads on Friday. And I'm actually really glad that after the match was over, Jimmy was, saying, we got to get back to the ring. We got to help him out and everything. I did like seeing that. I did like that. That was really nice. But I'm just glad Jimmy's involved again because I like how we're having, more layers being added to the story again, which was definitely needed, especially when it comes from Roman's perspective, because you can't have Roman doing all this by himself all the time. So he's got to get that back up eventually. So that's something that was definitely needed.
Yeah, and especially with like Jimmy trying to get Roman to go back and help Cody when he was getting beaten down by them. Like,
Yeah.
the way they acted with it was very human in a way, because it's like, okay, it's not like an immediate, all right, let's go help him, and it's not like a dragging it out being like, oh, I don't know if I want to help him. It was literally like Roman being like, hey, I told him one, like he only got one, like Spider-Man says, like you only get one. So it's like, do I help him? No, I don't want to, but like Jimmy, like, and I think Vash, you had pointed this out in our notes, like Jimmy was kind of being a voice of reason for Roman, and it shows great character growth with Roman actually taking somebody's advice that isn't the wise man. So that was kind of cool because it's like it's showing that he's trying to learn, trying to grow, and trying to be more of like what their idea of a tribal chief is. And I'm hoping that moment, and like mainly like Jimmy coming back here, I'm hoping this is used as part of the fuel to get Jay back over, because like, and I'm sure I've said it on the show before. Yeah, because like we have to get Jay back.
Sense. Yeah, that makes perfect sense, which is honestly like one of the things that I'm wondering like what they're gonna do. And obviously, it makes sense to throw Jay in here because we obviously need Jay to play a part in this as well. But it's like I'm glad that Watkins brought that up because just seeing Jimmy there pushing Roman to go out there in the ring, even though Roman looked at Jimmy, he's like, you know what, I just had him for this one match. That's it. He can get beat up and everything. I don't really care what happens everywhere. I don't care what happens afterwards. But I like how Jimmy, like how Vash said in the comments, Jimmy's the voice of reason, trying to push Roman down that direction where we can see exactly, what a tribal chief truly is. Somebody that's a proper leader, somebody that's leading an organization the way that it's supposed to be led. And that's going to build a interesting character dynamic, especially if you look at the history between Jimmy and between Jay and Roman to begin with. So that's going to be very interesting to see exactly how they're going to lead into that, because we don't know how we're going to get there. That's the interesting thing. It's like the whole destination when it comes to like, okay, how are Roman and Jay going to come in contact again? Is Roman going to come over to Raw? Is Jimmy going to come over to Raw? Stuff like that. Like, you have to give Jay a legitimate reason to go there. He's not going to just do it just because Roman's like, hey, I need help, A lot of these other assholes are like a lot of trouble, and me and Jimmy can't do it on our own. So it's like, you got it. That's the best thing about it, is like the whole story that's going to build off of this very point of the match when it comes to building into Survivor Series, because this is exactly what it's leading into. Like, I'm not even looking at Crown Jewel, because at the end of the day, that's just Crown Jewel. I'm just being upfront. But when it comes to Survivor Series, that's the real kicker when it comes to like, okay, because a lot of us have been speculating that this was going to be a Survivor Series match to begin with when it comes to the new Bloodline versus old Bloodline. So I'm curious to see if there's going to be any comments with that with Jay on Raw, because obviously Jay was there partying up. So
I mean, he was partying. He was yeeting up in the stands with DDP and all that. Like, so he's gonna have something to say and something to do with it.
I just want to say, I'm no yeet, and like his shirt says, They not the ones. I love the shirt that what Jimmy was
they
wearing.
not the ones.
They're not the
Yeah.
ones. Like literally had the shirt ready. Rikishi literally tweeting a couple of weeks ago, saying say got pray for my son. I'm like, bro, he looking good right now. He was
Yeah, like,
smiling
what?
and ready.
What was that about?
Literally taking up the hoodie, coming out. I love how Solo was staring at the Tongas, and then Solo was like, wait a minute. I know y'all two my goons. Who the fuck is that goon over there behind y'all? Like,
Dude,
he was like
the
giving a
camera
reaction.
work.
It was beautiful. It was beautiful. Thought out
Oh,
the
it's so
camera,
good.
like just showing that Jimmy was placed well in that spot, and I just love
Mhm.
how Solo's reaction and the acting he did. Like, yes, who the fuck are you? Why are you there? And who are you? And then those super kicks deliver so good tonight. They actually look like the most type of deadliest type of super kicks from the Usos that we haven't seen in a while. So really glad it looks very well delivered, executed from Jimmy. I love that he came back. It's like The Rock. We're gonna talk about him. We speculated. It was something that has been speculated for the past couple of days. Would it be nice for in 2024 to be more shocked than we'd like to be? Yes. But when you have news outlets like Pat McAfee say, hey, I heard the big guy's coming, and then in social media that he's in the same town because of another type of game of football, kind of makes it too obvious. So it's very hard to not be shocked nowadays. So that's very sad, very suckish in that aspect. But when it comes to Jimmy, I love it. My girl, my wife, was excited. She literally had goosebumps. Like, she literally showed, like, yo, babe, look at that, goosebumps. It's fucking excitement to see how she's not part of this world, that we are doing the content, the speculation, the theories, and seeing how we read between the lines of storytelling. But for Jimmy to come back, it was amazing. I love, like I said in our document, I love how Jimmy was the voice of reason. Like, with Roman, he was cool just walking out. He was like, I don't give a fuck. We had a one-off deal. We shook on it. I told this dude that he's in my way in life, so I don't want to deal with him. And I love how Jimmy literally said, nah, dog, come on, let's go help him out. So it felt very genuine, very shocking that he's the voice of reason. When it came out a couple months ago, I mean, like a year ago, Jimmy betrayed Jay or tried to help him out. But I love how it's still linear. Because remember how Jimmy always has said that I was helping you out, brother. I look out for you. I'm the older one. I'm the older twin. So I'm the voice of reason that I didn't want you to be the next tribal chief. Look what it does to you.
Yeah.
So I love how Jimmy continues to be the voice of reasoning without the wise man being there. Like, he is the comedy person, but he is the voice of reason in that aspect. So I really appreciate that.
Oh yeah.
Look, sometimes the
definitely.
funny guy is the voice of reason. Like
Like
sometimes
with
you just need to
Michelangelo.
listen to the funny guy. Yeah. Like sometimes you just have to. And shoot, what was I going with that? But like I love unserious but serious Jimmy, because I mean he unmasked himself. He's just like yeah, like
And he
trying to
smiles so
pull
creepy.
Tama Tonga stuff.
He did like,
Yeah. He's like, yeah. Guess what? But I think the thing I'm most looking forward to throughout all of this, because like not only am I expecting a bit of oosiness to happen, I can't wait for them to yeet.
yeah, because we're
As
gonna go from no yeet to a
Oh,
brother
yeah.
that's gonna be yeeting together
Yeah.
with his brother. It's gonna be interesting
man.
how their dynamic is gonna be. By the
But-
way, a quick
but
positive,
even bigger.
a quick positive type of Joker reference. I just noticed one because you gave me a reference in my head that the face that Jimmy Uso tried to give, it reminded me of the Batman Joker who laughs. That's big ass smile and face and eyes wide open.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
what Jimmy Uso gave me.
I could see that. I think I see what you're going with it. Like, but like, here's the thing. It's like, it's one thing if it's Jimmy doing it, you know. It's one thing if they coerce Paul Heyman to do it, you know, just had fun or whatever.
That's just funny to even think about.
Exactly. It's like trying to see Waller as Paul Heyman do his thing, but whatever. And it's another thing, when they eventually get Sammy involved too, when he does a yeet, because that's a Sammy. He's a nice guy. The kicker, though, is if they get Roman to do it.
I feel like he will.
See- I mean that's just gonna be like that's just gonna be an ongoing meme I'm gonna see throughout social media for quite some time. As Roman starts doing that.
Part of me wants, like, I don't want it to be like the final nail in the coffin, but I
Yeah.
kind of want that to be part of how Jimmy joins. I want it because, like, I think it's mainly just because it's kind of funny, but it's like,
Yeah.
oh, Roman does all this stuff, like he's begging Jay to come back, he's like pleading, he's like getting down on his hands and his knees, like to the point of getting down to his hands and knees and all that. Like Jimmy can't get Jay over, Sammy can't get Jay over, Paul Heyman can't get Jay over, and then. I mean, internet will hate it, but I don't care right now. But like the final like Raw or SmackDown before Survivor Series, they have like a little get together, and Roman and Jay are just in the ring, and Jay's just like, you only need to do just one thing.
You got a yeet for
He
me.
goes up, yeet.
Yeah.
That
That's
was
just
so
going to be an
funny.
interesting thing to see them build off of as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because you also got to look back at, like, I think I know I brought up like Roman earlier, but also just building the brotherly bond back up together again. That's another thing you
Yeah.
gotta consider as well. So it's like two different routes that, two different things combined that Jay really needs to think about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because he's broken out as a single star, so like
Yeah.
him going back
That's
to the
another thing.
bloodline. Yeah,
That's another
Also-
thing. It's like them looking at Jay in a new light.
Also, it's gonna be weird because I saw a post from the IWC saying that would you guys be excited for this, for Jey Uso to have the IC title, and then somehow for Jimmy to have the US title, where they're both holding the mid titles at the same time. And I would be like,
I mean,
if
that's
it's right
cool.
now this moment, no. If it gets built up and probably Jay again loses the IC title and gets it back, and then probably Jimmy has the US title in the future, sure. But right now at this moment, I'd rather not get that. I'd rather just Jay be its
Yeah.
own thing.
Yeah, I don't personally think they really need to throw titles on them because it's like I said about the Bloodline already. It's just a prop at this point, just to add something special. Kind of like how you're trying to get like your favorite ice cream flavor if you're going out to get like some ice cream at like an ice cream Bálor or something like that. At the end of the day, it's just not talk about Jimmy's case, but like when it comes to the Bloodline, we know that's the main reason why they have the title, just to have as a fancy little prop to make them look legitimate. But I don't necessarily think that Jimmy really needs to have a title because there was a story for Jay going into that when he became IC champion. So just throwing a title on Jimmy just off the bat just to have both of the brothers have mid-card titles, I don't really think it's necessary. I'm fine seeing it the way it is because realistically it works more in Jay's favor considering, them looking at Jay since he last came in contact with him. That's pretty much like coming across your brother you haven't seen for the like last 3 to 5 years and seeing what they're up to. Like they're like this businessman, they own multiple companies, stuff like that, for example. But in their case, it's like, wow, a lot of things changed since we last came across you. You broke out, you managed to win a title on your own. Like that's just going to create an interesting story itself, and I'd rather see something like that play out than just having titles on somebody just for the sake of having titles. I've never really been a big fan of that.
Yeah, and I mean, we'll talk about the one cousin who has a made up title here in a minute, but like I do want to bring up really quick our predictions for this because like you and I both went for the Bloodline to win, and Vash being the ever loving optimist that he is,
Thank you for bringing that up. I was gonna bring that one up too.
So it's like
we could have a score value from now on, so we could just see.
No,
look, trust me. Next season. Don't worry. Next season we're gonna be doing some things like that.
Yeah.
Yo, the lot of excitement when I saw them win. I literally told my girl, "Yo, babe, if I actually put a bet on it, I actually won the bet." So I what you talking about? Like it's just personal. It's just personal bet right in there in my head. I told like, "Yo, babe, last night they told me the Bloodline's winning," and I'm like, "Yo, I'm gonna be optimistic. I'm gonna put Cody and Roman's winning." And I forgot who I said who's gonna pin who, but I was like, "Yo, so this is gonna happen." I told my girl, "Wow, babe, you're optimistic." I'm like, "Yeah, I am."
Yeah.
And look what they did.
Like the main reason why I said that to begin with is because I thought this was going to lead to a a Roman versus Solo match at Crown Jewel. That's why I thought something like that was going to happen, because I thought it was going to be one of those things to like build up the bloodline even more, having Solo be like, you know what, I pinged your ass, and then Roman getting frustrated and wanting to have like a proper one-on-one match with him at Crown Jewel. That's what I thought it was leading into. Like, I still expected everything to play out the way it did tonight with Jimmy coming back and The Rock coming back and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that's how I personally saw it, but I'm honestly just really curious to see where things are going to lead into now, which might as well talk about the final boss, because
the prop title.
yeah, because the final boss did make his an appearance. He did return tonight. My hands hurt for clapping so much. I was super excited when I was doing dishes, because we had snacks here tonight when we were watching Bad Blood as well, and I had to clean up. But I remember watching it as I was doing dishes. I saw Rock's music hit. I was really waiting for it, because there was a part of me where I was like, please don't end it like this, because I did tell Watkins off air that I'm fine with Jimmy coming back, like I spoke about earlier. I don't want to repeat what I said earlier, but I'm glad with Jimmy coming back. It's just, to me, it would feel very overwhelming. It would be underwhelming for Jimmy to just end off the show with him and Roman in the ring, and then we get the end credit scene and everything like that. I wouldn't be a big fan about that, and that probably would be one of the very first things I would talk about on the review of Bad Blood, was the fact that, ending kind of felt flat. I mean, something like that I was hoping they didn't do, and there was a part of me where they were walking back, and then they went back to the ring, and they saved them. I was like, oh, they're going to end it like there? But I like how Rock came back, because I'm not saying that's what saved the show for me, but that's something that a lot of us were expecting, because we've been talking about for the past couple months, how does The Rock feel about everything that's going on, ever since he left?
Yeah.
Because the last time we saw The Rock was the Raw after Mania, which actually felt like a Raw after Mania. And I like how we finally see Rock come back. His music plays. I love everything about The Rock. Rock has been one of my personal favorites forever, and I personally believe this is probably the best version of Rock we've seen for years, or if you want to even say the best Rock, I'd say since. I guess if I would put it in a way, when it comes to like a modern Rock, instead of coming back, getting along with the crowd and stuff like that, like an interesting character change, because we haven't seen a heel Rock for quite some time. Because when he came back, he was butting heads with Cena, but that was just a whole different story. But the fact that he has this whole different character change, the final boss character, I mean, I'll put it out here. I honestly think he was the hottest heel out of WWE this year, just based on the work alone that he was doing. But just seeing him back, looking at, I know a lot of people were thinking like, okay, what is Rock gonna do? Is Rock gonna come out to the ring? Is he gonna put the one signs up with Solo and all of them? Because that's what I was expecting. He was gonna come down to the ring, maybe he would take part into the beatdown or something, or maybe he'll try to trick Roman thinking that he's with them, but maybe he does a rock bottom to him or something like that. But
look at you overestimating the final boss.
Yeah.
You thought he was gonna go in there and deal with the peasants? Nah.
I was underestimating. I was like, yo, please don't show up. The show's about to close. I was like, don't show up. Don't show up. Teasing people. Don't even pop up. The music don't hit. And then boom, it hit. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, no, I'm glad it happened. It needed to happen.
Yeah.
But it's like with him,
otherwise,
with him being there, it's like, okay, we had that whole thing where he was staring at Rock. I mean, he was staring at Roman and Cody, and he did the 1, 2, 3, pretty much just count down to his song, and then he just did this. So that's pretty much telling you, like, yeah, things are gonna get pretty spicy. Not in that way, don't think like that, but things are gonna get pretty crazy once Rock is like, put into the story. Well, he is in the story again, but actually getting a microphone in hand and actually explaining his true feelings when it comes to like, okay, how does he feel about the current predicament of the bloodline? How does he feel with one of his cousins actually siding with the enemy? And of course, that potential match that he wants to have with Cody, like you mentioned before, how he wants Cody's belt. So there's a lot of things bleeding into SmackDown and throughout the rest of the year when it comes to exactly what's going through the final boss's mind. Because when we got this leading up to WrestleMania season, this was probably my favorite part out of the television when it came to those episodes we were talking about the podcast. I always loved seeing Rock because Rock added so much. Even those little posts on Twitter, he added so much, and I like how he was giving the explanation that people wanted. I'm super excited to get into it again. He definitely was missed. I will say that he definitely was missed.
Well, see, that's the thing. Absence makes the heart grow fonder, and
Oh yeah,
especially with The Rock, because like I did watch his little Instagram live he did.
yeah,
Honestly, people, you didn't miss much from it. It was really just him kind of hyping himself up and hyping up his moment of standing out on the ramp. Which, don't get me wrong, cool to see The Rock if you were in attendance, but like all he did, was the countdown, the cutting of the throat. It's like then he left, and that was the show. It's like, okay,
yeah.
cool. And then like you see his Instagram live, it's like, oh great, he's gonna say something. He even says he's like, the final boss will tell you everything when the final boss is ready. It's like,
I mean,
oh,
okay.
dude.
I think he said something like that's good shit. Didn't he say that too? He's like,
Oh well, yeah. He took a big swig of some drink. Like somebody
Yeah.
gave him like a big old bottle of alcohol.
Yeah.
He took like a big swig. It's just like, that's good shit. And I'm like, Vince.
Oh yeah.
Oh man. So yeah, like I'm glad The Rock's back, and I'm glad like because I think this was a moment to really like because you had mentioned, oh, this is The Rock kind of coming back or coming back into the storyline and all that. So it's like this was something that we needed now because now it's like, okay, now The Rock is involved. Like we had little inferences like throughout the past few months through Solo and all that. So it's like,
Yeah.
okay, like he's involved, but
just-
how involved is he?
That's what I'm curious to see. As the optimistic here, I think on the flip side of this conversation, I'm more not in the negative or more like whelm for anybody that has seen Young Justice. I'm not underwhelmed or overwhelmed. I'm just curious to see where this takes because he came out. Cool. If he went on the mic and said something instead of counting the 1, 2, 3 and then doing like the Undertaker type of symbol, and from there on the left, it felt like he blue balls us. And it's like, for content, for entertainment, great. But without any type of, it's so vague that I'm not even excited or caring for. We knew The Rock was going to show up, so, alright, cool. It wasn't shocking that he popped up for me. The music hit, the final boss, he had the damn vest. He had the fucking ugly pop-ass People's Champ belt that he's carrying with the most fucking biggest pride in the world that doesn't do anything for you, my guy. You're just People's Champ that everyone is booing you, even though I hype for you. So it was cool to see, but then I'm like, what can you offer? So, like Drop said earlier, we were expecting to see a Solo versus Roman at Crown Jewel or something. We already got some match that we'll be getting that we'll be talking right after for the rest of the night. But for excusing the announcement, we might still get a Solo versus Roman probably at Crown Jewel lead up to, but not The Rock has popped up. Like Watkins said earlier, we have heard Solo say, oh, Wiseman, this is said by somebody higher for you. This is the plan in motion by somebody. Wiseman asking, by whom? Who's the one that's giving these orders? And Solo not answering. So we finally are going to get these results. Hopefully we fucking do this Friday.
Yeah.
It doesn't get too vague where it gets more of a slow burn. I don't mind for the Raquel stuff or any of those other type of segments to go slow burn. For this, The Rock not talking tonight, we better get fucking answers this fucking Friday. If not, I'm gonna be going on a fucking rant or be annoyed.
Well, hey, look, one day you'll get answers. One day we'll all get answers, especially the answers to life.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Yeah, so I mean, a lot of the stuff right now is just kind of, I guess, again, we're in a wait and see period because now that The Rock's back, it's going to be knowing, okay, what his direct involvement now is. Maybe we'll get some stuff with like how Solo actually
Do you guys
just
have
kind
any
of
theories of what
gained
his
power.
1, 2, 3 man and the little quick death symbol? Like, you guys have any theories about that? Probably triple threat or anything involving that, or was he pointing at Jimmy, Roman, and Cody as the one you like 1, 2, 3 of you guys in the ring are gun? Or you guys have any thoughts about that?
No, I'm gonna
There,
say the
there
rest of my
were.
thoughts.
Mhm.
Oh no, you can go.
I was gonna say there were a couple thoughts I had, but like, again, we might have to wait for more information to come out because, like, on one hand, it could be like, oh, 1, 2, 3, as in, oh, there's three of them in the ring that
Oh,
have now
now
crossed
I know what
him.
I was gonna say. Now I know what I was
Oh,
gonna
go
say.
ahead.
Um,
Yeah.
I saw one there another thing I saw a lot of people talking about on the timeline, and I kind of want to throw that out there since it has been a topic of conversation, and I'm pretty sure there's probably other people talking about it on podcasts of their own. Um, a lot of people were speculating that maybe this is Rock teasing a match with him, Roman, and Cody, which personally I'm not really into that because I'd rather it just be
Hmm.
like a Roman versus Rock or Cody versus Rock.
Yeah.
But I know that was something people were bringing up because I know Cody was saying, you know, once he's in the main event next year, you know, they're gonna be doing something really crazy, which is, you know, a common thing that they hype up every year. I mean, would it be a big match? Of course, you know, you got your two poster boys in the company, and then you got The Rock himself in a main event match. So regardless how you feel about it, it's still a big match. But I do
Hmm.
know that was something that was thrown up there. But I'm just gonna wait and see where this
Hmm.
goes. Like if Rock has a spot open up, like I don't think it's gonna be this. I mean, it could be. You never know. But I'm just gonna wait to see when he has a spot open up, so we can get a better explanation of what everything is going on. Because I think that's my biggest question here now is like now that we have
Yeah.
everything here, what do we do with it to build onto something else?
Exactly. And yeah, so I mean, again, I thought, story going forward, it's gonna be good. We're gonna be cooking a little bit, big slow cooking,
Yeah.
smoking. Maybe we're gonna be smoking this brisket and all that, and guys can eat it when it's WrestleMania season for that. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, so I mean, I guess we can move on from our main event to a match that probably should have been the main event, and one
Definitely
that we don't
showed
have
it.
to worry about. Yeah, well, yeah. If we're just talking
Match of
about
the
like
night.
action wise, yeah. Oh my god,
Definitely
by
match
Match
of
of
the
the
night.
year,
far match of the
actually.
night.
Match of the year, honest. Match of the year candidate.
Candidate, yes.
Candidate, yeah,
I'm about to
I
say
would
like,
say that. Yeah, I would
that's
have to.
not. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's hard to decide from all the matches top of my head of the 2024. That's fucking tough. But definitely
but
candidate drop.
hey,
I agree with you.
don't worry. Maybe you'll hear us talk about match of the year at some point in a
Yeah.
month or two or whenever. But
Yeah.
that's besides the point. That's right. We are talking about the Hell in a Cell match on the anniversary of the first Hell in a Cell. We had Drew McIntyre taking on CM Punk, and this was the exact bloody war that we needed. It was the war that we deserved. It was everything that we could have ever asked for, if not more, even beyond that. Like, there were some sick spots. Like, my back started hurting a lot, so I'm hoping you're okay out there, Drew. I'm hoping you're able to walk, like actually walk.
Yeah.
like just getting slammed on the back to like those, just the table part, like the table legs. Oh my god, that in itself just hurt my back.
Oh, the one
I,
that hurt me the most was when he did the backdrop on the steel steps when CM Punk moved out the way
yeah. No.
and he hit the
Mm-hmm.
lower back.
Yep.
That's the one that literally like I actually stood up because I have lower back problems from sports and work. So whenever I feel that pain, I feel like I'm fucked for the day. So when I saw Drew hit that, I'm like, I fought that for Drew. I'm like, my man,
No.
Drew and CM Punk, get your fucking rest. You deserve it because, that spot.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I felt that too because as soon as I saw him hit that spot, I was like, oh shit. And even like when they were using one of the legs of the table, I thought that was actually really creative because I don't really remember them ever
Mm-hmm.
doing something like that before, at least on the top of my head. So that was actually pretty cool that they leaned into that and actually did something interesting. But with the one thing I will say, besides the rest of the points I do want to discuss throughout this match itself, is that CM Punk himself said that he wanted to bring back the feeling of a Hell in a Cell match, which is something that has been empty for a couple years now when it comes to the Hell in a Cell matches that we've gotten. Obviously, I'm not putting down Cody and Seth's match because that was still a great match. But if you're talking about like a Hell in a Cell match itself, something that a lot of us grew up watching over the years in the early stages of WWE when it was like 27 years ago when we saw Michaels and Undertaker inside the Hell in a Cell, and then we saw Taker and Mankind in Hell in a Cell. You know, that whole feeling of actually being trapped inside Hell in a Cell and just going to war with each other. You know, that's something that CM Punk was really pushing when it came to this match, and I'm really glad that he brought back that feeling again. And this is one of the things that I really like that WWE does, is that when the match calls for blood, they do it, which is something I appreciate because it gives it that special feeling where they're not doing it every single time. They're actually doing it when it matters most. And obviously with a match like this, especially when it came to the hatred that two of these men have for one another, it made sense for blood to be put into this match. And it wasn't just like one small spot of blood. Like, they were actually bleeding quite a bit throughout this match, which is something I really appreciated. It just showed that these guys were just tearing each other apart, like they both wanted to kill each other, which essentially they did. And I like how we got the toolbox in here. They were using different kinds of tools.
Dude, that toolbox was stiff as hell. Like, that thing, when that thing hit Drew and then he got up and showed like his bloody face. Oh, dude, it took me back to when Eddie got hit by JBL with that steel chair, and like it made him like his head just like, again, the proverbial crimson mask and all that. Like, that's
remember
what
Cena?
Drew's face tonight.
Remember Cena?
Dude, yeah, same thing.
Yeah,
same thing. Like, literally just like dripping off of him. And
it
it
even said right here that Drew required 16 staples to close the wound when CM Punk hit him with that metal toolbox as well.
Yeah.
So that just goes to show that, you know, they're willing to like completely destroy themselves just for us. And that's something you got to really appreciate, that they put their bodies on the line, just like Triple H said in the press conference, just for our entertainment alone.
I would also love to add a tale of the tape, since we brought up some type of history record, that for CM Punk, this is his 5th one of Hell in a Cell. Now he is 3-2. He has 3 wins, 2 losses for CM Punk. I couldn't catch the 2 losses he has had, but for Drew McIntyre, he has gone to 3 Hell in a Cell. The most recent loss is for CM Punk on October 5th of 2024. But then the second one was 3 years ago to Randy Orton, and the one before that was 4 years ago to Bobby Lashley. And for CM Punk, last match of Hell in a Cell was 11 years ago with Ryback in Atlanta.
Who?
With Ryback.
Who?
Wait, who?
Doesn't matter.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so he's retired anyway.
So I just want to give that tale of the tape to know the history of this. And it was pretty useful to know, because I honestly thought that knowing this, they would have done a little twist with Drew McIntyre having 2 losses. I thought they would have given him his first win in that aspect. But then it reminded me of how they also announced this for the strap match last PLE, and Drew added another loss to his strap match type of record, and CM Punk continued his win record for his strap match. So I feel like they're a flip to each other on that score, so it made sense.
Okay. All right. Yeah. But man, this match was just really, it was just so good. Just like from start to finish, like I was fully engaged with it. I was trying to take notes, but like part of me was just like, forget the notes. I get
that. I get it, because you gotta fully absorb this thing.
Like, because there's so many just like little parts of it too, and then like, and especially like during, you know, our ending sequences with everything. I mean, these guys put a lot on the line, like from, you know, spamming some of their finishers to like the stuff that they were doing with the tables. I mean, just that brainbuster alone to the outside table, that was like, that was some sick shit. like because you see Drew McIntyre's back after that, like he's got like this big cut like right here that's just like getting everywhere, and like he at a point, I don't know if he was like selling this or if he actually couldn't get those steps up
Oh
like
my
into the
god.
ring and all
I
that.
felt so bad for him.
Like,
He kept trying. He tried a good 3 times. He couldn't do it.
yeah.
And I felt that like, for I didn't really write my notes. I wrote like more like a reaction like throughout the match, like just saying like I wrote it in our Discord instead of saying oh fucking shit. I wrote oh ducking shit. Like oh this camera shot was nice. Fucking hell, the sharpshooter was tough. Oh my god, that
Mhm.
sharpshooter was homage to the match of Owen Hart versus Stone Cold. It reminded me so much of that when he did a sharpshooter to Stone Cold.
Oh no, that's definitely what that was. It was a callback to that
Yeah.
because that exact moment, how it was played out, just like that, was basically picture picture when it came
Mhm.
to how CM Punk did that to Drew McIntyre tonight.
Yeah. And just like it also harkened back to the strap match, because like he did that to Drew, and even commentary pointed it out. It's just like Drew tapped during that match, but I mean they couldn't end the strap match then because that wasn't the rules of the match. So it's just like, oh, he's putting in another sick sharpshooter uh onto Drew. So it's like, okay, the match could end here, but of course the match wasn't gonna end there. They had to do some other stuff like pulling out a bag that had a bunch of beads in it. Like
Oh my
that
god.
that
The
was that was crazy.
Also, a
Mm.
quick side note. CM Punk also made a bracelet to the person that made the
Hmm.
original bracelet for him back in April or March was it, and he made a bracelet for her, and I believe she also went backstage, took a picture with him and everything, and girl got a bracelet made by CM Punk saying Bad Blood 2024 and everything. So congrats to the
Yeah.
person that made it. I forgot her name here, so I can't give her a correct shout out, but just to see the beads as well and doing the return thing of in the mouth to Drew McIntyre, that was
Hmm.
brutal. One of
Oh
the other
yeah.
things that threw me off was the wrench. Even though it wasn't actually hitting the head, but to kind of believable aspect to know that they were using an actual wrench tool to actually hit each other's head and make a dent
Hmm.
or make a cut. It was really brutal in that aspect.
Yeah, and and especially like the tools they were using were kind of real. I'm kind of glad they used them in the ways that they did. So like, Drew being the first one to grab like a wrench, for example, he runs to CM Punk who's at a pole, and like you could tell like he actually kind of hit the pole, but then like you see some of the spots later on, it's like, yeah, they're using to kind of hit each other. So like I guess one that's popping in my head right now is Drew when he was, I think he was still in the sharpshooter, or he was in, it might have still been when he was in the sharpshooter, but like he got out, and this happened a couple times too in the match. He got out by getting a wrench and like
Hmm.
hitting Punk with it, and I mean,
Hmm.
that shows just with Drew McIntyre and his in ring awareness as
And
well. So it's
and
like,
plus to
man,
add to
that's
that,
cool.
with to reverse that with CM Punk, I think after the third time that Drew kept grabbing the wrench, with CM Punk before he got hit by the wrench, he grabbed it ahead of time and threw it, I believe, to the side of the ring and just continued.
Hmm.
I believe he was doing a submission at that time, so it just looked so wild. Like even though he was
Hmm.
doing the submission to hold the lock with his arm, he also was aware that Drew was trying to get it with his other arm. The wrench, like, all right, I'm gonna get you again with your back, pop, pop. But he was ready this time.
Hmm. But I this I do want to kind of jump ahead to like the ending sequence of all this, because like
Oh yeah.
it called back to a lot of stuff, especially like the promo from this past week where Punk was like, I'm gonna have you begging for your life, and you're not gonna be begging to God or the devil. It's gonna be to CM Punk. And
Yeah,
Praise
and
like
he
me.
did.
the fact that like he not only referenced that, but like used that to like drag Drew down and like you know get ready to end it all, but like Drew turned it around, because like it just shows again how like both of them have their faults throughout this whole feud, how they want to do just so much damage to each other, and yet it ends up kind of biting the other one in the ass a little bit. So it's like I like seeing that because like Drew with the low blow and all that, and like just Drew's facial expressions too throughout the match, like especially when he had the bloody face, like
Mm.
he looked like he kind of reminded me of like a dragon a little bit, where like the dragon's injured and all that, but like it's just like this visceral beast ready to just destroy this hero that's trying to take him out and all that. But like goes from that, from like the Miss Claymore, like the chain wrapped around the knee. I'm skipping around with like all the spots, but seriously folks, I highly recommend, like, no matter what words we use to hype up this match, it is nothing compared to actually seeing this match play through. Like, it is
It's
it
what I
is really good.
Oh
Like,
yeah, it's
man,
what I
I, it was something. Honestly, I feel bad that they couldn't close the show. I feel bad seeing how great
no.
and
mm,
successful this match was. I feel like they put their heart out of this match being executed and showing the frustration that they could have closed the main event, and I would have been so totally fine with it. This match was unexpected
mm,
of how great it was. They cook out of the park. Even the white noise on the steel steps also was such a simple move from Drew McIntyre, CM Punk, but to execute it on the steel steps was very well.
Yeah, and I think that
mm,
was the whole point of it, was to show why this match should close the show, because a lot of us were going into this thinking that this was going to be the match to close out the show, considering that we are celebrating, 27 years ago when we had the Bad Blood pay-per-view for the very first time. So so that's why when I was looking at this match, I'm like, yeah, this would have been a good closer. This would definitely be a match that I would like walk away from after the show's over and be like, holy shit, I need to go back and rewatch that again, because that's something
mm,
I can say with this match is I'll definitely go back and rewatch it again. And I can only say that with like so many matches. Like, you got to have that certain impact on me to really make me want to go back and rewatch it again. Kind of like how we had Roman versus Cody 2 this year. That's another match I would go back and rewatch again, just based
oh
on the
yeah,
whole intensity of that match alone. And I'm just glad that, I can go in a Hell in a Cell match looking at it being like, okay, we're actually going to get that feeling of a Hell in a Cell match like I spoke about earlier with CM
mm,
Punk, because when we had that chain GTS spot where Punk got the win, that got me like really excited.
mm,
I just love how he was like building up to it. He was just wrapping it around his knee so we can hit that GTS on Drew and take him out for the pin. It just put a good smile on my face, because after watching a Disney movie earlier this day, it just made me really happy I could walk into this, feel that intensity, and actually just, you know, looking at it, be like, Triple H, you did a good job with this. Like, I really
yeah,
appreciated what you did with this one. And the
and
next thing
yeah.
that well, I'll save that
Well,
thoughts after
I was
that.
just gonna say, like now that this is kind of done and over with, I'm
Okay, so
excited
we
to
are getting
see
into that.
now. Yeah, like I'm excited to see now where we're gonna be going with all this, because like the work that Punk and Drew did during this feud did wonders for both of them. Especially
Yeah.
with Punk having to take that time out because of being injured. Like,
Mhm. Proved a lot of people wrong.
Drew really picked up the slack with it. Like, he
Oh, yeah.
made the feud continue on even when Punk wasn't there. Like, eh, the man deserves a bit of a break, if I'm being honest. Like, he deserves like some off time, which, if I heard correctly, I think his aunt may have passed away in the past couple days. So if that is the case, first of all, sorry about your loss, and make sure you visit family and do what you need to and all that. But like, we kind of know, or like we've kind of got the speculation where Punk might be going with, like,
Yep.
in regards to challenging Gunther at
Hmm.
Survivor Series. So we'll have to create our journey, our to that destination. But it's like, where do you guys think
Path to
Drew
Left Tail.
goes? Like, back to left, what?
Path,
Back to left
like a
tail.
path to left.
Oh,
All the
path to the
reference.
left tail.
How everything leads
Yeah,
to
yeah,
to the path.
yeah. But where do you guys think Drew goes from here? Like,
See,
does he stay on Raw? Does he go to SmackDown? Like, where
see that's
do you guys
see
think
that's
he's
what
gonna
I
go?
see. That's what I was like. So like, yeah, like you said, we already know what's happening with Punk because they already started
Yeah,
building the siege with that already. We know that whenever Cody and Gunther, which we'll talk about in a little bit, um, we know once that's done, Punk's gonna get his match at Gunther because we're already getting the siege with that, like I said. But with Punk, that's more of an interesting story because we don't know exactly where that's going to lead Drew yet, because now that
yeah.
Drew and Punk is done now, what's the new direction for Drew? And one of the things that I did speak about on Raw, I believe, was the fact that, after this match is over, why not have them on separate brands? Because if you
Hmm.
look at it like this, these guys hate each other, so why would you keep them on a same brand, knowing how
Yeah.
whenever they come across each other again, they're gonna want to beat they're gonna want to beat the hell out of each other. So I was thinking in my head, you could possibly move him to SmackDown, give him a new playing field. He could possibly do programs of LA Knight or Cody or whoever else on there, Carmelo Hayes, etc., so on.
Hmm.
It's a whole different ball game for Drew if he wants to go to SmackDown, or if they want to sell the effects of the Hell in a Cell match and Drew's out for a couple months before they try to figure out exactly what they're going to do with him. They can go down that direction.
Hmm.
But one of the things that I was thinking about before Ilya Dragunov got a ACL injury, which we miss you, buddy. Hopefully you're able to recover properly. But I was honestly hoping to get like an Ilya Dragunov versus Drew McIntyre feud. That was something that I was thinking of. It
Oh,
would
that would
be
have been.
yeah, it,
Oh.
it would have been it would have been a pretty good program, because if you think about it like this, it's like, what are we doing with Ilya Dragunov? First off, we got to give him
Hmm.
some intensity on Raw, and putting him up against somebody like Drew McIntyre, knowing how crazy both of those guys are as it is. I mean, that was
Oh
something I
yeah.
was thinking of that would have been pretty good television. Just seeing both of them in a match together, that would have been great. But I don't really know. Like, what do you think? Walk-ins or Vash of what we could potentially get with Drew, because
Um, I'm gonna
I'm
let
I'm I'm,
Watkins
I'm
go because I gave my thoughts about it last night with
Okay.
you in the aspect like we agree
Yo, yeah.
we
well,
agree on the
if
same
you want,
page aspect,
yeah,
Drew being switched on to SmackDown is something that if they don't
yeah,
have no plans for him, have it go to
oh yeah,
SmackDown, do a
Hmm.
little switch with AJ
yeah,
Styles, go to Raw, Drew go to SmackDown, keep it simple terms in
yeah,
that aspect.
yeah,
But what else can you
Yeah.
do right now? I don't have much of a vision, so I'm gonna pass
yeah.
it to you, Watkins.
So
Yeah.
new people that are watching, Vash's point of view, just in case you didn't catch our SmackDown show. That's what Vash said last night.
Yeah. And if you didn't catch it, hey, there's a nice, lovely little playlist you could check out all of our past episodes about all the other
Yeah,
shows that we've been watching and
All the links are
consuming
down
regarding
below.
wrestling and all that. Exactly. So make sure you check it out. And I guess my quick, this will be very quick. I mean, I would rather him on SmackDown now,
yeah,
because again, get some distance with Punk and all that. So I'm on the same page with that. But like, part of me wants to throw him up with Cody, but then like I'm looking at the timeline with everything, because like as we saw, if you guys saw the video that's been going
oh
around
yeah,
with
I forgot to
Cody,
bring that up.
he got beaten up by Kevin Owens tonight. So like I guess we're going back to that well right there and seeing where we're going to be going with that. There's the whole idea of Randy Orton turning heel on Cody, and us getting a program with that. So it's like the top spots in on SmackDown are kind of already taken, and then like I look at the mid card stuff, it's just like they're also kind of set too. So it's kind of like how you guys felt last night with like AJ. It's like, where does AJ fit in all this with him coming back? It's kind of the same with Drew. It's like, where does he fit in with all this? And like I guess the only other thing I can think of is after he takes like a couple weeks to kind of sell from the Hell in the Cell stuff and all that,
Mm,
have him go up against Jay.
yeah, you do something like that.
Jay's got a title, and that could be a feud that could really like they can both kind of sink their teeth into. And I mean, honestly, if Jay's dropping the title to somebody else, it doesn't hurt that it could be Drew McIntyre, you know?
Oh, and that could build
But
another feud with Drew and Sheamus, since technically Sheamus needs to get the IC title. And
see,
Drew McIntyre don't like Jay already, so that could go back to that.
It
I
could.
prayed for this and it happened. Yeah. So yeah, that's my little 2 cents with that. But I mean, overall, hey, this match was awesome. Again, like if you didn't get to see the match, first of all, while you listen to us talk about the match, reviewing it and all that, that's just kind of silly. Go back and watch it, and then come back here and hear all our wonderful thoughts and all that with it.
And if you didn't get to hear our boy CM Punk telling the EMT while he was getting the oxygen mask, like our boy Watkins has in the background, he said it like Omni-Man, that I missed my wife. Instead, he said, "Let me call my wife." That's so adorable. That's so wholesome. Him coming
That was
out,
nice.
him coming out during the segment and everything, be like, "Yo, after I did this brutal, bloody ass match, can I call my wife and let her know I'm good, I'm alive, my back is broken,
Yeah,
my body isn't injured. I can't wait to go see her." So that was really adorable to hear and see.
exactly. But yeah, so we can just kind of move on from there. Again, just watch the possible match of the year contender, and you'll be set. We had a very big announcement tonight as well that we're going to touch up on for a few minutes. So it was known before the show, hey, Triple H has this major announcement he's going to make tonight on Bad Blood. It's like, all right, cool, you got something to tell us, great, awesome. Are you going to announce a new pay-per-view, or what's going on? And then Triple H moses on down to the ring. There's a podium right there with like the cloth over a title,
Oh
and we're just
God.
like, oh, a title. And I shit you not, chat. I shit you not. In our group chat, I literally, in all caps, am just like, is this the mid card women's title? Is this it? Are we finally getting
Yeah,
it?
see
And like,
that's
even
yeah,
though it
see that's
says,
what I wanted too. And I
yeah,
was happy
mhm,
because it was one, because I only want one, because I don't want it to be cluttered
yep,
with a shitload of titles.
Chat, all
same,
three of us
same
in the
here.
chat
Thank you
was
for being on the
literally
same page.
chat. All three of us were saying, "Oh, mid card title." We were all. I literally have my tweet ready to literally say mid card title
Dude,
announced.
same
I had
here.
my tweet ready
Same
while
here.
this was happening. I was like, "Cool." I wrote my tweet, waiting for the confirmation so I could just press send. Once he showed an ugly ass title and said, "Yo, so this is happening,"
Wow.
and then I'm like, "Okay, gotta rearrange this tweet, gotta rewrite this tweet for the most stupid ass, ugly ass title, like the most biggest belt that looks like the fucking type of Super Bowl." Look, chat, not saying the belt is ugly. It's that one, it looks like a belt, like a Super Bowl ring, but the size of a belt. Two, the concept. I love the concept. The idea of, because if they added one more sentence to the fucking concept, all three of us, you would have heard a rant from all three of us. If they said
Yeah.
whoever wins will be merging the titles and being champion for both fucking shows, I'll be like, what the fuck was the point of last year Seth Rollins
Yeah.
getting the new World Heavyweight title if this was the fucking chance? And
Yeah.
Triple H, you're the one that announced this shit, so you literally contradicting your last yourself. But
Yeah.
thank God this was a concept that I don't mind, because it's like a King in the Ring concept, but instead in Crown Jewel, and I don't mind it, since it's for those of us that did not hear it, it's literally having the World Heavyweight title winner, champion, versus the WWE title for both the men's and women's side, and whoever wins on those side will not lose their title, but will gain like a bragging rights and a crown jewel title to represent, and it will be happening
Yeah.
annually every
It's
single year.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
basically your top champions having an exhibition. The winner gets a title
And a
that
bragging
says,
rights,
"Hey,
who's
look,
better.
I was
Yeah.
this." Yeah, it's just like
Yeah.
I was the best this year. It's like cool, great, neat,
So we're getting Gunther
but
versus
but
Cody, and we're
but
getting Liv Morgan versus Nia Jax.
for
Give
now,
me give
for
me a
now,
GTS right now.
yeah, for now. Now I say for now because there's still a Money in the Bank holder.
Oh
There's
yeah.
still that. There's
Oh,
still that.
Tiffany could cash in Crown Jewel, and she could choose Wait.
No, before that.
Oh yeah, before that too.
Before that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Vash. Yeah, no.
That's
No.
too far
Okay.
forward, and
Yeah.
that gets too
Like,
complicated if she cashes in.
well,
with the
no.
both
Yeah,
fingers.
you're making things a lot more
Vash is in like
complicated.
Vash
Yeah.
is in like Green Hill Zone right now.
Yeah. Like,
I went way
hold
too
on.
forward.
Okay.
I went way
I
too
know the title is very shiny and very pretty, but don't be distracted by its good looks. All right.
Mhm.
Definitely not just shot the good looks.
But-
Definitely not.
Oh,
Whatever. Look.
I
Okay,
will-
so like, cause I'm in two minds of this too. It's just like, okay, title looks awesome because hey,
Yep.
it's a lovely, beautiful title.
Yeah, it
The
looks as good as
concept-
cheese on pancakes.
Mhm.
I'm gonna ignore you.
Mm-mm.
The concept though is like, okay, because I'm kind of in the middle with this. I'm like, okay, I get it because okay, it's kind of something fun to do. You know, it's one of those things where it's just like, okay, let's have our top champions from each show fight each other out. Who's the best? You know, you'll get put on this plaque and you'll like win this title for like a year or whatever until like next year when the next one is, you know, crowned or whatever. So it's like, okay, I get that. That's
have a question.
cool.
Would
But,
you
like-
guys have liked if they added the NXT face as well, like
No.
NXT Trick Williams being
No.
involved in that, and then you also
No.
had Roxanne
No.
or if it was Gilia
No.
as well?
No,
Sorry, I'm gonna keep saying
Dude.
no.
yeah,
No,
we
no.
need
I'm
Kratos
gonna
in
keep
it.
saying
Fine
no.
to say no. If you Kratos and want
Yeah.
to say no, that's totally fine too.
No.
I was just
No.
asking curiosity if it would make the
Nah, I know.
concept any better. Like, look, for the Cody and Gunther match, I have no problem. I'm interested to see how that go. For the Nia versus Liv, I'm not interested to see that because we already saw that before WrestleMania, I believe, a couple times, and leading up to it. With the Becky
There's
Lynch
also-
versus Nia, Liv interrupted. She was part of that feud, so it was something that I don't need to see again.
Yeah. Oh, I can't wait to dive into this.
Yeah. So like, I at least wanted to throw the Tiffy part in there because like there is that thing because like you probably remember this too, Drop, when we almost got Brock Lesnar versus Jinder Mahal at
Oh, God.
Survivor Series.
Yeah.
And then WWE pulled an audible and was like, hey AJ, are you busy for Saudi? Or no, they didn't go to Saudi, so it was for Survivor Series. You're busy
Yeah.
for Survivor Series? Here, win the title like a week before the pay per
Yeah, that was
view.
that was
Hey,
a great
great.
match too.
Oh my god, it probably one of Brock's better like
yeah. Even
modern
with
matches,
Brian
I'd say.
Brian Danielson too. That was a great match. But he had with
Mhm.
Brock too. I mean, that
Um,
Daniel
Yeah,
Brian
but, like-
Danielson always puts on great matches.
yeah, but like
also
so-
Chad brought up about Gunther's favorite wrestler of all time, Oldberg or Trashberg.
Oh, no. Before we
well,
get into that, I do wanna my
we'll get
thoughts.
into that.
Okay.
I do want
Yeah,
to get my
we'll get
thoughts
into
on
that. We'll get into that.
Yeah.
Don't worry. But like so the concept of this thing, like
Mhm.
drop. I know you want to get into this, so I'm gonna
Yeah.
let you get into this part of
Yeah.
it.
So
Like-
personally, I'm not really a big fan of this concept at all. It just doesn't mean anything to me because I've watched these Saudi shows over the years, and this is just something special for the Saudis, you know, just to put out there, just like how we had the greatest Royal Rumble. You know, they wanted a Royal Rumble. They obviously weren't going to do a main one over there, just like how they want a WrestleMania. So they decided to do the greatest Royal Rumble, and they had a belt with that. This is basically how I'm looking at it. It's like, okay,
I never seen
it's-
that or heard of that.
yeah, this was a thing that
Mm.
happened many years ago. I'm just not really a big fan of it because it just like I get what they're trying to do, but at the same time, it's just them appealing to the Saudis, and I hate to be straightforward
Yeah.
and say that, but I'm kind of known to do that. But that's basically how it is with this because I rather see something like we talked about before, with it being like a mid-card belt for the ladies, because that's what I thought we were going to get into here was a single belt. I was hyping myself up for it. As soon as I saw the belt and I saw Triple H talk about it, I was like, okay, I mean, I didn't really ask for this, but you know, here it is. But it's like the whole concept of getting a Cody and Gunther match, cool. But there's also a part of me saying, you know, that's a match that deserves proper build up because, you know, that's a dream match that a lot of people want to see when it comes to Cody and Gunther. They want to see that eventual feud between the both of them. And we've seen them not once but twice actually come in contact with each other in the past 2 Royal Rumbles, and they have great chemistry. So I would love for that to play out a little bit more. But we are getting this match, and you know, it is what it is. Hopefully, I'm not really sure who's going to win out of that. But I don't know. I just don't really care about it because, I mean, what really is it at the end of the day? It's almost like the Speed Championship in a way, where it's like you only see it on Speed, and then it's not. Basically, what I'm trying to say is like when it comes to acknowledgement, where it's like you see it there, but then the rest of the year, Cody has his title and Gunther has his title. You're not going to really speak about it.
Yeah.
So it's like
until Crown Jewel next year.
That and also the same thing how they have the King of the Ring or the Queen of the Ring. Whoever won it, they had it being named for like a month or two. The only person that gets named about it is Nia. Nia still gets called.
Well,
Queen of the Ring.
that's a little different because
I would say that
get something at least with this year they at least got something afterwards.
Yeah, that is a little bit different.
They got the title shot and all that.
Whereas, that's a little bit different.
It's like. Yeah, it's like with this, you know, in the past we've had, you know, like Drop mentioned, we had the Greatest Royal Rumble, which Braun Strowman won. He got a nice little title. Great. You mentioned it once after that, and that was it. And then, like, you had the other things where it's like, you know, the best in the world tournament and all that. It's like, you keep creating these things, these moments for it, and yet, like, good concepts to have if you're doing like a yearly thing with these Sally shows, but you don't do it beyond that, you know. And it's saying. Like, and that's kind of where my hesitation with this lies. It's like, okay, this is cool that you're doing it. The belt looks amazing and beautiful, you know, but like, are we going to continue on with this? Like, is this actually going to be an every year thing, you know? And like, are we actually going to crown somebody this every, like, are we going to have like a plaque? Is this going to turn into what the Andre the Giant Battle Royal was for a bit, only on a higher scale, you know? And like, my other thing too is just like, is there anything more with winning it? Like, you get the title, you get the bragging rights and all that, but it's like, you're already the top champion on your brand.
Yeah, so why do you need it, you know?
Would
it get you like an immunity?
I would prefer like a tournament as well, like not just have the 2 main guys. Probably have a build up of like, hey, we're gonna have a Crown Jewel tournament, and if anything, what could lead up to that? Oh, I just thought of that. Whoever won the Crown Jewel could secure their spot in the Royal Rumble and could choose what type of number they want to be in. As an example, like for example, whoever won the tournament and will face off each other at Crown Jewel, whoever wins could, you know, choose a number. For example, 1 through 30. If they want to be number 30,
that would have been like a better thing to execute, because like, I hate to be Mr. Negative here, not throwing any shots at the title, because I think the title looks beautiful and everything in my personal opinion. Obviously other people think different, and that's perfectly okay. It's opinionated at the end of the day. But I'm just so used to this whole thing. I'm just used to this whole thing when we enter Saudi. Not saying I hate the Saudi shows or anything, but it's like, you know, it hits you different when you've been in the game for a while watching these things play out. It just starts to really hit you where it's like, I get it, but is it really necessary? It's kind of like, I mean, you also look at both of the characters. Like when you look at Cody, we know he is in the position he's in. We know Gunther is in the position he's in because they proved to us multiple times why they need to be there, not just in matches, but just with their work ethic alone. So just getting another belt just to put over your shoulders, that personally doesn't do anything to me.
Yeah. And plus, here's another thing too. That takes away about at least 4 options for like a big PLE event. That takes away 4 options for world titles. So
Yeah.
like, there's not going to be a WWE title match. There's not going to be
No.
a world title match. There's not going to be a women's WWE or world title matches. Like
Yeah.
those opportunities are gone. So it's just like, okay, now we have these other titles that people are going to be fighting for, but it's like
Hmm.
you're not going to be lugging that thing around. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, again, the belt is beautiful and all that, but like,
Yeah.
are you really going to be carrying that monstrosity around everywhere you go? Like, that thing is huge. Like, that's more of a
Mm.
trophy than a belt.
And bro, I'm curious, like, are we gonna see promo work for the next 4 weeks now
Actually,
from Gunther and Cody? Like, are they gonna go to
Mhm.
Raw and SmackDown to start their own promo, or are they going to stare at the camera and each
See,
of them answering their own
see,
show?
see, that's
Yeah.
the thing, and I'm gonna put this in our Weebs of the Ring chat because this is one of the things I did notice when Cody put out his schedule this year. I at first thought it was just going to be house shows since Raw is going to be 2 hours moving forward. I thought it was just going to be house shows that Cody was going to be attending just because the shows are 2 hours now. But now with this whole concept introduced to us, and we're going to be getting that Cody versus Gunther match at Crown Jewel, the whole October 21st and October 28th dates make a lot more sense to me now because he is going to be appearing on Raw. So maybe those are the segments there where they encounter each other. But I'm kind of hoping, we get a little something than just 2 appearances or something. But yet
Yeah.
again, now that I think about it now, especially when it comes to the Saudi matches, whenever they usually go over there, they like putting on big matches. Like there's always
Yeah.
these big matches that they really want to see. Like if I'm looking at last year we had I'm thinking what was the match that they really I think they had like Braun Strowman versus Omos a couple years ago, right? Get a big
Yes.
match.
Yeah.
They wanted a big match like that. They had Roman Reigns versus LA Knight, which that made sense due to the whole feud that was going on right now. But then we had
Yeah.
Io versus Bianca, stuff like that. They
Mhm.
sometimes just do things like this just because we're going over to Saudi. We got to throw out these big matches, and
Yeah.
uh, we'll,
But
we'll
like
just hope
also
we.
too, yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, that was on. I just slip of the tongue.
Yeah. I mean, I guess the last
I will
point
be
before
right
we get
back.
into the other part of all this is like they we're gonna have to be building towards other feuds too for these titles. So it's like we're gonna have to intersplice that in between like the feud that'll be going into these shows. It's like, okay, now we have to do a lot more work to intermingle everything, and like sometimes that doesn't work out organically. It feels forced most of the time, you know.
I would say we just gotta see how it builds up because I am
Yeah.
least excited for this Crown Jewel coming around now. And we knew Crown Jewel was coming up. We knew that it's gonna lead up to it. Cause like for example, they promoted Crown Jewel now Survivor Series main event on Saturday, December 14th in December. They
Mhm.
promoted Royal Rumble, but then they didn't promote Elimination Chamber since they haven't locked that down yet. But then they promoted
Yeah.
WrestleMania and then like, the other events that they already have locked out. So they're just still trying to figure shit out. So Crown
Yeah.
Jewel for
Mhm.
something as unexpected and something that's not planned yet, and they're announcing this. The saddest thing that you said, Watkins, is we're losing 4 title matches. So that means we're definitely going to be getting
Yeah.
U.S. matches, IC title,
Yeah.
and maybe a tag team, or maybe they in the next week or two they also might announce a mid card title. Who knows? They better now
Yeah.
since we lost fucking 4 title matches.
Yeah. Yeah, like
Yeah.
another thing I did want to add on to Watkins when I had to take a little intermission break is like the multiple stories that Watkins was talking about. Because you look at Cody's character, you look at Cody himself. Now we got something
Yeah.
built in with Cody and KO, Cody and Rock, Cody and Roman, Cody and Randy. There's a lot of drama surrounding Cody in a nutshell. So now you got to factor in Gunther now.
Gunther. Yeah. Who already starting to feel I'm sorry. Gunther's starting to feel like a lot more of a back burner than he ever was as
Yeah.
IC champion. Like,
Yeah.
but that's a whole other topic for a whole other day because he was confronted by a former heavyweight champion tonight in Goldberg because Goldberg is in the house and Goldberg saying "Your next boy" towards Gunther. Does anybody want to see Gunther versus Goldberg in 2024 or
I mean, sure, why
2025?
not? I mean, I personally think it might even top the Punk and McIntyre match we got tonight. If you see that, I mean, all it needs is 3 minutes, right? Should be good enough.
Yeah, that's all Gunther needs to destroy Goldberg. That's all he needs.
Bro,
Like,
I
because
love
that's the
it.
thing.
I love
That's the
I
yeah.
love what Love Gunther say. I'm gonna say it right now. Yo, one trick pony. I bet you our boy Owen Hart was
Hmm.
proud when he heard that. He like, yeah, that's my dude Bill Goldberg getting shunned
Oh,
again, knowing that nobody
Brett.
likes him.
You
Might be
mean
thinking of
Brett?
yeah, you mean
Brett,
Brett.
yeah, Brett. Thank you. My apologies,
Yeah.
Brett.
I know why you said that because of the documentary
I was
song.
like,
Thinking
Probably
of
that's
Owen.
what probably my tongue is being twisted from the
probably, yeah.
documentary from us reviewing it. For anybody that should watch it, episode 70.5, the documentary of Vince McMahon, we did cover that, so please check that out if you want to hear our thoughts about it. And if not, you can move on from it. So Bret Hart, I know he definitely was excited to just know that hey, Bill Goldberg continue getting shut and continue being hated. Love it.
Yeah,
One trick pony, hell yeah.
Hmm.
That's what he
they're
is.
obviously
Old Goldberg.
they're obviously gonna do something like that because they're not gonna just put it on television
Yeah.
just for shock value. So obviously they're gonna like build into that as well. And I kind of like how Gunther was playing into what a lot of people say online when it comes to Gunther, when it comes to Goldberg, or when it comes to like those
Oh
short
yeah.
matches he had. He was like, I was like, I'll give you 3 minutes because that's what a lot of people say when it comes to Goldberg, where they're like, the dude only needs 3 minutes. I mean, look at that match that he had with Brock all those years ago. It was just like what
Yeah.
3 to 5 minutes. So it's like, I thought that's very
Well,
funny.
the first one was 90 seconds.
Yeah, oh yeah,
Really?
that's true.
The fuck, 90
Oh
seconds?
yeah, dude.
Oh, trust
Yeah,
me, if
dude.
you were living through that, you would have had a wild time. I'll tell you that, Bash.
Oh, bro, I would hate that.
It
Like,
was
I
a
love.
wild time. It was a
I don't
wild
know.
time.
I didn't know if that was actually a shade towards that because what I thought when Gunther said that they have 3 minutes, at 3 minutes, I thought he meant like overall, like for the segment. So it's just him just poking fun, like all I need of your time is 3 minutes. So
Oh,
I thought also like breaking fourth wall. So that's what I thought it was. But to actually poke fun of his
Never know.
history of having fast matches, that's also more funnier now.
well, that's the thing. Like Goldberg's whole shtick was basically squash matches. Like all
Yeah.
his whole time in WCW, it was like just squash after squash after like destroy after destroy. Like it was very rare that matches I think would go beyond 5 minutes even. But then like he goes into WWE and WWE, that's a little more, hey, we got to build upon the match. And like that's when people started kind of seeing Goldberg's weakness because like he would have like 15, 20-minute matches with Triple H.
Yeah.
And like Triple H was kind of carrying most of those matches because of that. So it's like, he kind of earned that reputation of just needing to have a short match, there's somebody else around that's like that right now, but I can't pinpoint the name. Yeah, so that's why like when he came back like in 2016, I think it was, with his feud with Brock, their first match when he came back was only like 90 seconds. Like he pushed Brock, speared him, jackhammer, done, over with. Their second match was like 5 minutes or something. So like Gunther being like, yeah, I only need 3 minutes. I mean, yeah, Gunther, that should be all you need to beat Goldberg, because that's the other thing. Goldberg is Oldberg. Like he's not the same guy he was years ago.
For anybody that did not check the press conference, we had our boy Triple H telling us, the audience, that some interview asks, hey, are we going to get a match with Goldberg actually happen with Gunther? And I love how Triple H answers. He's like, time is a huge factor in life. And Goldberg, if we don't get to tackle that sooner, time will beat him over the actual match. So he was trying to be around the bush, saying that, hey, if we don't catch this opportunity now, we may not get to it. Goldberg is a big fan from from Atlanta, which I was unaware of. That I didn't know Atlanta, Georgia loved Goldberg. That was something that I was unaware of, unexpected, which threw me off. But at the end of the day, it's like Goldberg, cool to see you, fan of yours, sure, maybe, who knows. But do I care to see you fight right now in 2024? No, I'd rather see the better version of you called Brown Breaker. So I'm good to pass on that. I'm good. Bye bye Goldberg
Yeah.
or Bill.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, when it comes to this conversation with Goldberg, I'm kind of done with it too.
Oh, me
I mean,
too.
we'll see what happens with it. Hopefully, Gunther only needs the 5 minutes or 3 minutes, excuse me, to defeat Goldberg. Because hey, that would be sick to see. But yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and transition now to our WWE Women's Title match. We had Nia Jax defending against Bayley, where Nia Jax looked probably okay, so I'm torn because like on one hand, she looked good in a lot of places, but she also tried a lot of things, and I applaud her for trying. But they kind of looked a little rough, like when I can't believe these words. I can't believe these words are about to leave my mouth. Nia Jax attempted a Hurricane Rana.
Yeah.
She, like, again, I applaud her. And luckily for her, she was facing Bayley, who is really good at selling and really good at making her opponents look good. But like, the match was good. Like, don't get me wrong, the match was good. It's just like Nia, she was trying stuff. I can applaud her for that, but like, it was pretty rough. And we get another failed cash in for Tiffany Stratton, which I know you were kind of pushing for her to cash in tonight. So do you want to talk about the match first before we go into that? How do you want to tackle this one?
Oh yeah. So basically I'm just gonna stick to my guns, like I said earlier in the chat. I don't really want to sugarcoat anything or whatever, but this match was there. I mean, going into this match, the only thing I was really looking forward to, just based on what I've been seeing played out on SmackDown for the past couple of weeks, was the whole Nia Jax and Tiffany Stratton story. Because the way that they were building to it, it got me invested. Yes, it's like a bullying line, and eventually we'll get that time when Tiffany stands up to her bully.
Yeah.
But that's basically what I was looking into this match for the most part. So when I saw Tiffany come out, I'm like, okay, are we actually going to be getting the cash in? Because I thought tonight would have been the perfect opportunity to do it. Only reason why I'm saying that is because, especially what Nia said to her last night when she was saying, you probably have better luck with Liv. At least that's something that you could survive, unlike you coming in contact with me. You're not going to really survive that battle. So I thought Tiffany was going to think about that overnight, and then she was going to come across Nia and be like, you know what, bitch? I'm gonna ruin your moment right here. I'm gonna steal the spotlight and everything. I'm gonna cash in my briefcase, and I'm gonna become the WWE Women's Champion, which I still feel like is gonna be a thing before this year ends for sure, 100%. But that's what I was really looking forward to. Like I mentioned in my tweet, it seems like they're going for the slow burn with this, so I'm just curious to see what other elements they're gonna really throw into this, because now that Bayley's out of the way, I kind of don't want to see a match like that again. Not taking anything away from Bayley, because I am a Bayley fan, but we've seen it already. Bayley got her rematch, so now we're looking into, okay, who's next? Is it Bianca? Is it Naomi? Is it Jade? Like, who's really next? That's how I was hoping, with Tiffany coming out on top in this PLE, with her cashing in. Now we could actually add more flavor to Nia and Tiffany's feud. Now that Tiffany actually caught Nia off guard and actually embarrassed her, now we can build more into the story where Tiffany's like, okay, she comes out on SmackDown, she explains why she did what she did, and then we can build into that for Crown Jewel, and possibly you want to have another match at Survivor Series or something along the lines of that. I was trying to shed a new light, do something a little bit different, because we've seen a lot of matches of Nia already on SmackDown being played out. So I was kind of hoping to get that cash in tonight, because I was also thinking on the top of my head, okay, this match is happening right after Drew and CM Punk. So
Yeah.
it's
Oh my
always
gosh,
hard
this-
to so it's always hard to top those matches when it
Yeah.
comes to like, holy shit, that was a crazy fucking match. How are you gonna top that?
Mhm.
And I was thinking, they wouldn't necessarily top it, but it would at least have stood out if Tiffany did a cash in. That way you could look back at it, be like, Tiffany actually did it. She
Yeah.
took the title from Nia, and now we can do more stuff with that. But that's how I felt going into this match. Like, this match didn't really do much for me. It was like I said, it was more for the Nia and it was more into like the Nia and Tiffany story, which
Yeah.
I'm kind of hoping we get the next level with that with SmackDown. I'm not entirely sure what else they're gonna really do to really push Tiffany over the edge. I mean, I was personally thinking myself, just based on what Nia did so far, I thought that would have been enough to really have the switch turn in Tiffany's head and actually make her do what she wants to do to really shut up Nia. But that's
Yeah.
basically what I took out of this match, honestly.
Yeah, and I mean with the whole Nia thing too, it's like I guess for the match itself, because it's like I feel like that's why she was trying so much, like so
Yeah.
many different things, because like she wanted her match to stand out where it was placed on the card, because like you said, like that's almost kind of like a death sentence on a card like this. Like,
Yeah.
you put them right after the biggest blood feud of the night. Oh, I mean, that's just my problem with having that match start the night too. Like, that was, I don't know about that one, Triple H, with at least where your show is. When it comes to Tiffy though, with cashing in the briefcase, I mentioned this like earlier in the day in our chat, but I wanted to pass along to the audience, if you guys don't follow Cultaholic and like watch their, like, I think it was during their predictions video for this. One of them had predicted, Nia Jax winning, obviously, but like part of the prediction was that Tiffy did try to cash in, but Nia would stop her and, take out Tiffy, and then like she would be, or I guess not like fully take out Tiffy, but like she would take the briefcase and be like, look, I'm the queen. And so since she's, all high and mighty, like, oh, I'm the queen, I'm the ruler. So whatever I say goes, off with his head and all that stuff. Like, what if, Nia had taken the briefcase and was just like, look, Tiffy, you can only cash in when I tell you to. And like, that would have added such a cool other dynamic with it, because like, again, you have Nia having this big power move on her and like on the whole division. She's trying to, like, in a way, she's kind of using Tiffany as well, because it's like she's being a good distraction for her opponents, but also like keeping her in her place. And like, it makes sense with Tiffy, because like right now she's still a heel, and with a heel of the character like Tiffany, she's more like, yeah, she's confident and like overconfident and all that stuff, but it's like she also knows when to play her spots as a smart heel. And that's what she tried to do with Nia, but unfortunately it's kind of twisting out of her control now, where like if Nia just held on to the briefcase for Tiffy, like, now we're adding more sympathy to this eventual Tiffany Stratton babyface turn, because I'm hearing the crowd, even during a Bayley match of all things, you're getting chance for Tiffy time.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry,
That's why I was,
that's when you're gonna have a big star on your hands. And I think that's why we're doing this slow burn with Tiffany Stratton's face turn.
yeah, that's why like I was that's like when you brought that up to me earlier, that would have been a concept that I would have loved to see play out in the match, because then you would look at it and be like, okay, now it makes me think that Nia's gonna get back in control of the match at Bayley and everything, and then Tiffany's just gonna smack her with that briefcase and just wail on her, which I'm still waiting for that moment, because
I
as
am
soon as
too.
Tiffany does that, I'm gonna like pop so hard for that, because I'm just waiting for
Mhm.
her to just go ape shit and just beat the living hell out of her with that briefcase. And if that moment played out the way that you described it, I would absolutely love that. It's like she's focusing on Bayley,
Yeah.
then wham, 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 wham. That would have
Oh
been
man, it'll be
perfect.
great. Yeah.
Oh,
But Vash, what did you think of this match? You've been awfully quiet over there, just gazing at that beautiful title belt behind you.
Hell no, definitely not. But had to deal with something. However, the match itself, Nia Jax versus Bayley, was better than expected. I would say it's better than their first round match that they had back in SummerSlam, I believe it was, or I believe it was Money in the Bank when Nia won the belt over Bayley. I would say this match was better. Nia executed a beautiful execution as a wrestler, showing her improvement that continues to get better. Me and Watkins brought up this earlier in the conversation of the podcast or in our PoE chat, if you guys haven't seen that, to the Discord, where Michael Cole was really messing up in this segment the most of
Yeah.
Nia versus Bayley. Out of all the matches, this one was the one that he kind of fumbled the most. He was trying to find out what Bayley was doing the counters, but he was also incorrectly reading what Nia was executing. Even though she did I have it here? Nia tried to do was a I didn't write it here on the notes.
Are
I wrote it
you
on the
cute?
I wrote it on the Weebs Of The Ring. I mean on the PoE chat. She did.
Well, I know. Yeah, go ahead.
we talked about the Hurricanrana.
Yes, the Hurricane. Thank you.
Yeah, we had talked about that.
The
we did.
Hurricane
Like
was amazing.
that one I don't blame Cole for kind of misinterpreting, because like
It's because it's hard
that
to
one
tell.
was
Yeah.
kind of done. Well, it was also kind of done bad. like again, like I applaud Nia for trying, but
Yes.
maybe not the Hurricane Rana unless you practice more and do better
But
with it.
still,
But it's like but tonight it's just like
still
it did
congrats
not
for
look
trying.
good. But like yeah,
Because a lot of people
exactly,
wouldn't be
exactly.
executing that so well, even probably botch you even more. And props to
Mhm.
Bayley to even sell the spot, even though it wasn't executed, to the fullest. So I was very happy to see that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Vash
but
loves
like
some Nia
yeah,
goodness. Look, I
yeah,
don't
you
love
do.
Nia goodness. I just gotta give props to where it is. Her after the wardrobe was good. She actually sell very well. Her rise when our girl Tiffany came to interrupt the match. Her rise of the execution of like it reminded me a lot of the Deadman Undertaker when he was like down flat and then just went zoom straight up to the middle. It reminded me of Nia doing that very well. She does an homage to that. I don't know if it's on purpose or if that's her style.
Mhm.
So very well.
Yeah. I'm trying to look at our notes here. Yeah, it was just really weird because, like, again, I could get Michael Cole mixing up the Hurricane Rana spot because, again, it was kind of a little rough and all that. But like some of the other times he was getting it mixed up, I'm like, dude, come on, that was totally Nia.
Mm-hmm.
Don't give Bayley all the credit, but I mean, she also deserves a lot of the credit because
Yeah.
she kind of pulled the match through. Also, Bayley pulled off a Samoan drop on Nia.
Yes, I
Like,
saw that, which was
Oh,
something unexpected.
that was crazy.
oh, I must have missed that.
Like,
That's probably when I was upstairs
yeah.
cooking. I'm gonna look
Okay.
at
Yeah,
this.
it was really
Oh yeah, I
quick,
saw
but
that. I
like,
just looked at it yet.
hmm
That was
yeah,
nice.
but yeah, I mean, overall, again, it was a fine match, I thought, but pay-per-view worthy, I don't know, but that's neither here nor there. That's not really an opinion I should really speak of because I don't plan the night. So let's move ahead to our next somewhat blood feud. I only say somewhat because we haven't had a stipulation match with the two yet. We have Damian Priest finally taking on Finn Balor in a match that's been months, if not over a year in the making, with all the stuff going on from like Money in the Bank briefcase to uh Damian Priest's, whole world title reign, but we still we got this match, and you know what? It was good. It was good.
It's
I
hard to be
don't
honest.
know if it was
Say that it
pay-per-view
was
worthy,
mad. Say
but
that it was
like,
mad. Say that
yeah.
you hated the results. That you didn't
No.
get your demon
Well, look,
Finn coming out and being on
it's not
top.
even the Demon Finn thing. It's not even the
Oh,
Demon Finn thing. It's the fact that
So
like Finn Balor's stock is so
here's
freaking low.
yeah.
Like he needs a big win. You know, like you know what? You know, and I know this is bringing up the past shit with it. I would have been more fine with him losing a big match like this if he didn't lose that stupid Hell in a Cell match against Edge, but it's neither here nor there. Finn needs bigger and better wins under his belt. And
Yeah.
like I get it. We're still somewhat building, you know, Damian Priest up, even though like I feel like Priest is at a level where like he can, you know, keep rising and keep having like big feuds and all that, but it's like I have a feeling we're still going to keep going with this. And even in the press conference, Damian Priest had mentioned, "Oh yeah, I don't think I'm done with the Judgment Day yet." I'm just sitting
Yeah.
there thinking, "Okay, you beat Finn though. Like
See,
that
this
was
is my
it."
thing. I'm gonna chime in and like share a few
Yeah,
thoughts with this now. So like for the match, it was all right.
match was
I'll
fine.
say
Yeah,
that.
match was fine. Yeah.
But my biggest problem with this, and this is a very big thing with me and other people as well, when it comes to a lot of the matches, it could have had more story being built into this. I'm not talking about the history between Damian Priest and Finn Balor because we already know that. I was just hoping we would get like more build up. Oh, I hear a lot of echo. Okay.
hmm?
I don't hear it anymore. No, I heard some echo before. But I basically like one of my biggest issues when it came to this match was the fact that we weren't really getting like as much build up with this because for the most part it was just Damian getting attacked. He was getting ganged up on by the Judgment Day and everything like that. And yes, we had that one little promo with Damian Priest saying like his brother's keeper and everything like that, but it's like there really wasn't as much story when it comes to building this match, jumping into this. And I felt like if we added a little bit more depth with that, it would have stood out a lot more. That's why I'm hoping,
Mhm.
that's why I'm glad that Damian Priest is like, yeah, things aren't over because there has to be more depth into this, and you would expect that considering
Yeah.
the kind of history that Damian Priest and Finn Balor have with one another ever since the Judgment Day was formed, and just looking at everything that they've been through. We knew this was going to be a match that we were going to be getting down the line, but there was just a lack of story going into this because if there was more for me to sink my teeth into, like it was like a nice steak or something, and I had like some mashed potatoes, a good side of
Mhm.
vegetables or whatever, I would have been a happy camper. Be like, you know what, we got some good story going into this. We got we got a good match, but that was just the thing lacking. Is like there was more focus on Rhea and Liv going into this, which is
Yeah.
fine, more than the whole Damian Priest and Finn Balor because I felt like that was left on the back burner and we weren't really paying attention to that as much. So that was like one of the things that I will say about this match that like really tuned me out was it just felt like something was missing, and that's why I'm hoping on Monday Night Raw. I'm hoping like what's the other layer that's going to be added into this. Like I do think that a stipulation could have helped this match
Mhm.
for sure, would have made it a lot more interesting. Um, but I'm assuming they might want to. I'm hoping that that's maybe the target for their next match because I don't think this is going to be the final match with one another.
Oh
But
no.
I'm
Yeah.
I'm I'm just hoping they throw a little something in there. And I know I tweeted out and I said pin Balor because Finn hasn't really
Yeah.
had the best. Finn hasn't
Yeah.
really had the best winning streak this year. I mean, that's been very apparent when it came to a lot of the feuds that Finn has taken part of, and talking all that shit, but not really getting that execution really well with it when it comes to
Yeah.
the payoff. So we got to spice things up a little bit. That's what we really
Yeah.
need to do, Damian Priest and Finn Balor. We got to spice it up a little bit. You gotta throw something in there for us to really invest in. Like that was just my biggest issue with this personally.
Yeah, and because that's the thing, and I hate kind of using this phrase I'm about to say, but I am gonna say it for this. This could have just been a Raw main event. Like that's what this
It,
was.
it felt like it.
Like,
I'll say that.
yeah, and I mean, I guess that's kind of. I mean, again, you could make the argument, oh, this is just a B show, blah blah blah. It's just like, yes, however, the way you guys build your PLEs and like your big shows like this, they are the big money matches. And like, yeah, the feud calls, Finn and Damian, big money match should be on a PLE, but it's like when we finally get the match, it played out exactly like a Raw main event would, you
Mhm.
know, like all the way down to the interference that we got.
I
So,
so
yeah.
to add my thoughts as well about this whole fight of Damian Priest and Finn Balor. A big shout out to
Yeah.
Damian. His outfit, his wardrobe, the jacket, the red instead of the Puerto Rican color, because he is a Puerto Rican descendant. Instead of the Puerto Rican, he put the bad blood, the dark color. So that's what really fuck with the vibe. Corey Graves and Michael Cole gushing over the rappers during this segment was really off. We also gotta say the biggest thing that I'm not sure we did mention, the collab of Dragon Ball Super, Dragon Ball Z Sparking Zero during this collab, and we had our boy, what's his face?
Xavier Woods.
Xavier Woods
Yeah.
presented the game. As to me, I feel like that is the best person to have presented the game itself. That's
Oh,
the
yeah.
only person that should. And the match was great. Could have been a lot better. Yes, I would have liked that Finn would have continued the match without JD or Carlito's help. It would have felt more dominant. It would have felt more like a singularity, because it felt too much interference that felt like a rinse and repeat. Like, all right, cool, we get it. JD has his tag team partner there, going there, helping him out. But Carlitos, why the fuck you here? Like, if JD was here, it would make sense. Like, a lot more sense. Like, that's his tag team partner. Carlitos, I get it, you're for the Judgment Day. But it just feels so sluggish when they come in there, and it feels like the spot to get the right spot, the punch and everything. Like, the
See
stuff
that?
of heaven felt very cool to see right after
Mhm.
after Damian took out, I believe, Carlitos, and then he looked left, he looked right, and then he grabbed Finn from the top rope, and then he did a South of Heaven really well executed. But just having the Judgment Day and get interfered felt like Finn cannot do his own thing without his stooge, without his goons to help him out. It felt very stagnant in that aspect.
Well, I think part of that too, though, is it would have been a great way to kind of tell the story of, hey, Damien, you tried so hard to do things by yourself, and like, because that's the thing, like Finn was so pissed that Damian Priest was trying to do everything by himself, trying to be the fighting champion by himself, not use any help from the Judgment Day. And yet, tonight, if Finn would have won with the help of the Judgment Day, it would have been more fuel for Finn's fire, and like it could have continued the story even more, like beyond, like especially if we're still continuing everything beyond this. It's like, okay, now you have like another layer here where it's just like Finn was kind of right, where it's like if you had just accepted our help, if you had accepted us like we accepted you, everything would have been fine. Finn would have been all pissed off, and the Judgment Day would probably still be together. Maybe the stuff with Rhea probably still would have happened, but like, that's neither here nor there. I think it would have eased a little bit with like Finn's tension with Damian, you know, and I mean, that would still, have this blood feud going through or whatever, but like, it's just the whole idea of like, the Judgment Day was something that you needed. The Judgment Day built you. Like, don't forget that. And I don't know, just again, Finn just needs a big win. He hasn't had a big win in ages. And you could make the argument, oh, there's tag titles and he won those. It's just like, yeah,
They've been champion
but
for
they
100
defended
plus
them.
days only for one
Yeah.
defense.
Like,
The women's tag
what are we
titles are
doing?
being more
What are we
defended
doing?
and more prominent than the actual World Heavyweight tag titles on the main Raw roster.
Yeah.
and that's the sad
Both
part.
sides of them, I'd argue, but I need to go back and watch that ladder match, but which I
Oh,
heard
the
was
ladder
really
match was
good.
fantastic. I
So
highly suggest for you to watch it
Yeah.
when we get the
yeah,
chance. It was executed
yeah.
so well. Montez Ford, I believe, was the MVP, but
As he
for
should be.
for Damian, I am excited for his win. Once the Damian won is when I knew that Rhea would be losing, even though it would not be shocking if Rhea won and then with Damian winning, Terra Twin for the win. I believe Jackie was having an interview. I believe during the pre-show, they showed us having a interview with Damian saying that the reason the Judgment Day was made was the people that were main eventers that are now were not main eventers 2-3 years ago. Rhea,
Hmm.
Finn Balor with Damian and like Dominic Mysterio. The reason the staple was born was to bring these stars that should be main eventing, that needed to get the extra push, that they needed to get the support of each other. Now that Damian is on his own, he doesn't seem like he needs the Judgment Day or a staple. So that's what shows that it works so well for him and it's executed. But for Finn, it's like he's getting the short end of the stick, and I feel bad for Finn in this aspect, even though he executed a great match with Damian, but it felt like a regular Monday Night Raw episode, main event style on the PLE that could have been for a U.S. title,
Hmm.
IC title, or another feud, or even people was complaining this should have been a match with Gunther and Sammy on Bad Blood or something. So for this match of Damian and Finn, the build up execution could have been a lot better, but overall was solid, entertaining. Would I want to see it rerun back? Depending on how
Hmm.
the next build up goes for, but right now I'm good. I can have a pass.
Yeah,
Yeah.
see
I mean,
that like
yeah.
just going back to like Watkins said earlier about like this feeling like a Raw match, it really did because the exact same shenanigans play out all the time, and I'm just hoping it comes to the point where Damian and Finn have the battlefield to themselves because we don't need
Hmm.
that henchman popping up all the time to try to add more flavor to the match or anything. We've seen it multiple times. It's played out. I understand why they do it, but it's still a played out concept. So hopefully have something better coming out of this.
Yeah,
Which
I hope so. And I mean, when we continue on with the Judgment Day stuff,
yeah.
things just keep going from bad to worse,
Want to be
especially with this
Batista.
women's yeah, this women's world title match with Rhea and Liv. This was not good. This was not
No,
that
it,
good. I
it, it
mean,
was not
e-
good.
like even the match itself, I mean, it was fine, I guess, but like even then it was just like I wasn't really feeling it. Taking Dom away, like in the shark cage, that's really where the crux of the whole story was. Like that's all they ever cared about was Dom being in the shark cage. Like it took away from an actual match that was happening, which
And
probably why they weren't really into it.
it sucks
Mhm.
that I'm gonna bring this up because, look, one thing I'm gonna give a big shout out for the segment overall is Pepper Niven. She got the most wholesome moment during the backstage with Pepper Niven with the big three and Chelsea look, being all stanky. All right, cool. Pepper Niven, big shout out. Triple H was on Shark Tank back in 1999 involving the Big Show. That was pretty cool to hear. The last cage match we had was 7 years ago with Corey Graves' wife's Carmella. So that's information I was unaware of. So it's pretty cool. However, for the Tank cage, I thought, or I think everyone else thought, it would be above the ring, like actually above the ring, not on
Yeah,
the
that's what I
side.
thought originally.
Hmm.
Yeah.
However, I assume for safety purposes or for procedure or anybody to have any accidental the ring drops or anything, that's why the cage was not there, or because the Hell in a Cell was already right above it, so they couldn't do it. Understandable, but this match I felt like Liv and Rhea was held back. They couldn't go to the full potential to actually put on a show. Instead, they was putting more of a soap opera. And for anybody that have not seen, Liv could put up a match now. She has the potential to put up a nice match with somebody else. She has shown great um, maneuvers over the past couple months with with Becky, with Rhea back at SummerSlam. She has done some great movements and maneuver in her matches. Her promo work has improved. But for this match to just go and surround around Dom most of the time, even when Rhea asks the ref, like, yo, would you mind that I put a pause on my match real quick, even though, she's counting right now? I could pin her myself right now, but instead of ending the match, I'm going to go play a piñata with Dom since he's right there, icing for the making, and I'm going to call myself happy birthday. It was a cute, wholesome moment, but at the end of the day, it didn't feel any stakes to when your main target was not your ex-boyfriend. The main target was your world heavyweight title. That was the baby. That was the thing that you never lost. Right now, you lost it twice.
Yeah, and that's my biggest issue with this is the fact that this is supposed to center around Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley, because Dom being trapped in the shark cage was supposed to be, okay, the distraction's gone, now we can focus on each other. And jumping into this originally, before the whole stipulation got announced and everything, I thought originally that this was going to be the last match between Rhea Ripley and Liv before everything else got added on top of it, because at the time, that's kind of how the story felt like it was going to end. But clearly, they're not done based on what we've seen later on. And I'll touch on that just for a few seconds. But just to piggyback off of what you guys were saying, the match was it was there. We had a couple good moments with that super code breaker from the top rope. I really liked that. I thought that was a really cool spot. I like the little frog. I like the little frog splash that Rhea did when she did the whole yeet thing. I thought that was a good spot.
Nice.
I mean, you could definitely say there was good spots within this match when it came to Pacific, spots that really stood out. But when it comes to the whole match itself, I mean, especially when we got into like the later portion of it, because I was waiting for this to happen, and we eventually got Raquel Rodriguez coming back, which was a given because a lot of us were predicting that this was going to be the result to begin with. But it felt very lackluster. And the reason why I say that is because the way that it was presented to us, where it's like the bell got rung. Don't really know why, because Liv and Rhea were still in the ring. So
apparently there, I saw a couple things online, and I'll have to do a little bit more research. But apparently, it was supposed to be like Liv was actually supposed to win the match.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Apparently she was supposed to actually pin Rhea and win the match. That's why, like, during like the interviews or during the press conference, everybody kept saying, "Oh yeah, you beat Rhea Ripley again. You beat Rhea Ripley again." And I'm sitting here thinking, but she didn't. She got disqualified. Like,
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
What? Yeah. So like it's so confusing with all this, and like the whole just ending with like the ref going back and forth and then being like, "Oh, DQ." It's like, wait, what are we doing? Like, was Raquel early? Was she like late? Like, where was the timing with this?
So
and then like
flat, man. It pissed me off, and I'm glad we're not the only ones. I'm sure a few people I saw online. I cannot.
Everybody.
I cannot forget their names, but a few of the mutuals I saw online, they all agreed that felt so flat. Like, watching it was so awkward. Like, okay, Raquel came out of nowhere. She passed the ref. The ref sees what's going on, and then the ref has to ignore it. And then Raquel went back to the ring to bring Rhea, and then the ref went back the opposite way to check on Dom. Where I'm like, ref, why are you checking on Dom? There's two security people to do that, so the ref has to pretend to look stupid. And then the match already gets called. Rhea gets in the ground, powerbomb, I believe, or gets a moveset by Raquel, and then she brings Liv on top of Rhea, which I'm like, what's the point of this? The match is over. So it didn't add any value, which Raquel could have done a audible, knowing that the match was over. She probably was still doing her spot that she was supposed to have the ref count at that spot, or most likely, but it just felt so awkward in watching it. It just felt like, what are you doing, Raquel? Like, you are messing up your return. Like, yes, the outfit and everything, you're all black, you're on the side of the Judgment Day, you don't live. Cool, I get that. this is your partner. Rhea also took you out for a couple months. It's a betrayal. What's funny? Also, my girl asked me, "Wait, aren't they friends in real life, babe? All those three of them, Liv, Raquel, and Rhea, all real friends in real life. But they're having this feud, and it's very funny how Raquel had to take down her own best friend and everything. So it's just hilarious. But
Well, yeah.
but it's funny to see. But I feel bad for Raquel having returned down. Most of us, all three of us, we've been speculating this for at least the past month or two, at least the latest. And to fall this flat, I really felt bad for Raquel. I wish it was better.
Yeah, because it just didn't really make any sense. Because it's like you're ringing the bell, and then she hits her finisher on Liv, and then she puts Liv on Rhea, and then she pulls Liv off. So I'm like, are we in the Matrix? Like, what's going on here? It just felt
Yeah.
very underwhelming because I'm like, okay, I mean, this is well, I guess not underwhelming. Well, it was underwhelming, but also very like awkward too, because it's like the match is over. What is like Casper the Friendly Ghost? 1, 2, 3 in
Yeah.
the ring. I mean, I didn't understand what was going on. I was so confused.
And that's just the name of just the last part of that match. It's just like it left you so confused. And like my thing is with Rhea's logic, because like your one of your big things is to win your title back, the title that
Yeah.
you never lost. You literally could have had your cake and eat it too. This is the worst part of all this, because even with Dom, first of all, I thought Dom legitimately fell from the shark cage. Like I thought
Yeah.
he legitimately did, but the fact that like he had a chain, first of all, he had a chain around his ankle, so even through the boots, I'm sure that didn't really feel good, hitting like that. Um, but like Rhea, you could have just pinned Liv, won your title back, and then been like, hold on, boys, keep him elevated, and then started wailing on him,
Yeah.
But instead, like, you throw Liv in there, you don't do any, you don't even cover, like,
It
and then
felt
you tell the ref, don't count. It's like, what?
it felt too painful by the numbers, where it felt like I said in the beginning of
Yeah.
the segment, it felt like too much of a soap opera instead of a wrestling match, where they could have blended much better. Knowing the match with Rhea and Liv could have been an actual match. Dom was there in the cage. You don't have to stress about it. But maybe hopefully on Monday she explains that the ex-boyfriend was there, our girl was enjoying it too much, Greg got distracted, and then we most likely will have a match now of Crown Jewel of of Rhea and Raquel, or maybe on a Monday Night Raw in the next couple weeks, because that's gonna definitely lead up to something for Raquel, and hopefully her promo works, and hopefully she sounds a bit more badass, and hopefully doesn't botch her return, because this wasn't the only botch return that we have gotten in a while. Even anybody remember Tangaloa, when he was supposed to come in and he grabbed the ref a bit too late, and the ref had to
Yeah, I
throw
remember
himself
that.
out.
Yeah, I remember that.
Look, man. Tonga Loa is the best wrestler of all time. I don't know what you're talking about.
Exactly. So it just sucks that the Raquel aspect could have been planned better or coordinated better. Probably it was too rushed. Probably it was too not planned well, coordinated. Who knows? I hope they fix any flaws they found for tonight for its story. But I do want to say one thing I didn't expect: Dom's case to actually open, like, and their
Oh, I
excuse. Their excuse in the commentary, I believe, like, oh, he probably has experience because he was in a cell before, so he knows how to open locks. I'm like, sure, we're gonna go with this. Cool, that Dom knows how to pick locks. That he's a locksmith.
Yeah.
Well, see, that's the other thing. It's like when you look back at the lore, I'm using that 4-letter word in wrestling. Oh, God forbid. But like when you look at the lore of what happened with Dom being in prison, he was only in prison for a couple hours,
Yeah.
But like I think it was Corey Graves who had said that on commentary anyway.
Yeah,
So
it
it's just like,
was.
okay, that's just the color commentary
Yeah.
being a heel and all
Yeah,
that. But
that's
like,
Corey Graves always doing the extra when he has had a history in the jail
Yeah.
scene.
but
I
also it's like, did Did they cut back and forth like watching Dom pick the lock, or
Yeah,
did the cage just go open? Because
I
I
don't
can't
even
really
know, to be
recall if they
honest.
did.
I
Yeah,
couldn't tell.
because literally it just gets to a point where it's just like he just pushes the cage open. I'm like, wait, was it not locked this whole time? Like, what's going on? Well, at least
Yeah,
it's
I don't
high
know,
up in
man.
the air. And then, oh no, I thought he did. But yeah,
Um,
but like,
I,
I feel bad. Yeah.
Honestly, like if I were to book this match, I probably would have booked it to where there could have been a distraction with the ref with Dom. Maybe Dom's doing something silly outside the
Hmm.
ring with the cage and everything, and then that's when Raquel pops in, hits her finisher on Liv, and then she stands outside of the ring and everything, and then you got the
Yeah.
ref looking back, and then Liv pins Rhea right there. I would have done it like that. I would have hit a lot harder if it was executed that way. I mean, I don't think this is
Yeah.
the end for Raquel or anything. I mean, it's good to see her back. I mean, the only thing I really took out of this when it comes to Raquel is the fact that, this is a new character change. She's a heel now, which is definitely
Hmm.
needed. So we don't really have to see the whole back gimmick anymore.
Yeah.
So
And
it's
she hasn't
like,
been healed since she was like in NXT for a bit,
yeah, so
because
this is like the
she
very
was a
first
big
time.
heel back then. Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like
So.
that's the best way to utilize her too, because she has all that strength.
Hmm.
And what's the best way to do with somebody like that is to just make them this
Bodyguard.
monstrous force. So it's
Yeah.
like I definitely expect this to well, definitely for me, I like it. It's a good character change for her. So we'll see exactly how that plays out on Monday, because obviously that's going to be one of the very first things that I'm pretty sure that Rhea's gonna come out and say call out Raquel. I mean, that's definitely your crown jewel match right there.
Oh yeah. Well, we won't be able to get that crown jewel match because they'll be Liv will be competing against Nia.
Oh,
No,
I meant Rhea versus
yeah, for Rhea
Rhea
Raquel.
versus Raquel.
Oh,
Yeah,
Rhea Raquel. Gotcha. I gotcha.
yeah,
Yeah, it probably could be. Yeah. So.
yeah. Because it's gonna be one of those things where it's like Liv's gonna be like, "Oh, you want to get through me again? You're gonna have to go through Raquel." That's just what it
Yeah.
is. Because when I was talking to Vash last night, we're doing our predictions. I was like, "This is pretty much how it's gonna play out. Liv's gonna win this match. We're gonna get Rhea versus Raquel. We're gonna team Rhea versus Team Liv at Survivor Series, and
Hmm.
then possibly at Saturday Night Main Event, Rhea gets her title back there, and then that's when we start building into the WrestleMania season."
Yeah, kind of end the year with Rhea on top. So I
Yeah,
like that. I like that a lot. I don't know. I really don't have much more
me
to
either.
say about
The
this.
only
Like
good thing I
again,
will bring up is
matches,
that
match. So.
our girl Rhea yeeted before a frog splash, so I feel like that was pretty adorable.
Yeah, it was cool. It was cool. But, overall bad blood, overall thoughts. I thought it was a fine show. It was okay. A few little low points here and there, but like definitely big highlights. Hell in a Cell match. Definitely go watch, check out. Main event, it was fine. It was cool. It did what it did. Planting the seeds, continuing the big story of the bloodline. Cool, neat, awesome. Women's title match, we're moving towards Tiffany Stratton face turns. I'm happy about that. Damian Priest and Finn could have been better. Rhea and Liv also could have been better in many other aspects, but like overall, I thought the night was fine
Yeah.
with these events.
I will
Yeah.
I will say for my overall thoughts mainly, I will say I did set the bar pretty high when it came to
Yeah.
jumping into this pay-per-view. Like I definitely did hype myself up because I was expecting us to get a crazy PLE, which we still did when it came to terms of the Hell in the Cell match. That definitely delivered. It
Yeah.
definitely did the job when it came to like, okay, we're gonna bring that level of Hell in a Cell again, and it definitely did. So just CM Punk and Drew McIntyre did their thing. Happy about that. Nia Jax versus Bayley, like I mentioned before. Don't want to repeat it too much. I was kind of looking for a little more with that. Damian Priest needs
Hmm.
more story with Finn Balor. Add more layers to that. Put more thought into it on Monday Night Raw leading up until their next match at a PLE. Rhea and Liv was a little lackluster to me. could have been executed better in the end. And Bloodline, anything revolving around that, it's just building more seeds to the story. And Cody has like 4 to 5 people to deal with now, so
Yeah. Yeah, he's got a lot on his plate and all that. But Vash, what about you? What did you think of Bad Blood overall tonight?
Look, Chan, I'm gonna speak up, but fuck the Crown Jewel belt. The Crown Jewel looks like a piece of shit. I like the concept, but then we lost 4 title contender matches for Crown Jewel. When it comes to the final boss came back, you blue balls us like a mighty duck bitch out here. Because how the fuck you come here, say 1, 2, 3, do the death symbol, and then walk out back in? You literally just got paid and come. Hey, I'm the boss. I could come and do whatever I want. It reminded me about the CM Punk return at Survivor Series. He literally just came out, smile, look around, and then the show ended, and Seth Rollins and everyone else was pissed. But then we had Cody Rhodes having a good match with Roman Reigns for a guy who has returned for one match since WrestleMania, and a guy who suffers. People need to remember, a guy that suffers leukemia, cancer, still fighting, wrestling this fucking amazing, and looking like this good in God mode with abs and everything, all oiled up and everything. You are in peak condition, so congrats for you, Roman Reigns and Cody. You guys did a good stellar match. Could have been a lot better, but you executed well. I agree with Drop that mentioned that we did hype ourselves up for expecting a 5 out of 5 or 6 out of 5 or 11 out of 10 type of PLE. We still got a great PLE, but like for example, if I was right now to rate it top of my head, I would say a 4 out of 5. Probably a 4.2 or probably a 4.5 out of 5 max is what I would give it.
That is very high.
Very high. Hey, a classic fucking Hell in a Cell match. I feel like if I need to go back to Bad Blood, just see the first 20-30 minutes and then see the last 30 minutes of that match of the tag team of Cody and Roman, I feel like, hey, that's a still good solid match. The Bayley and Nia match I will rewatch. It was actually good. The Tiffany stuff was executed well. The camera work of Tiffany in the corner, seeing that she's still eyeing Nia. She's like, oh bitch, you bullying me, but I'm gonna come and get you with this briefcase. I'm gonna come and get you. Would it have been better if she cashed in tonight? It didn't happen, so it's hard to give a comparison for what could have, for what did happen. I'm okay with the results, and I'll tell you this: Rhea and Liv, I expected better. And Damian and Finn, you gave us what we've been getting for the past couple months, so I can't really say that kind of let down or not. I wanted better from you guys, but you guys gave us a same results from what we have gotten in the past couple weeks, just with an actual type of winner, with the same type of adventure. So at the end of the day, Bad Blood for a returning show for the first time in 27 years, and execution of a great Hell in a Cell. To me, it should have been the main event, but overall, CM Punk and Drew were the MVP of tonight. The letdown match, I would say it was either Damian and Finn or Rhea and Liv. That's my top 5, and I'm okay with a 5 match. Not every PLE has to be a 7. I know a few people say, oh, they could have added one more match. No, we started at 6, ended at 9:30, because also they had the UFC 307, I believe it was called, right after. So So at the end, it makes sense. A 6 to 9:30, a 3.5-hour PLE, it worked. It executed well.
All right. Cool. All right. So yeah, I mean, those were our overall thoughts with Bad Blood. Bad Blood.
Wait,
Sorry, I saw you.
I gave a rating. What's your guys' rating? Since I gave one of a 4 or 4.2 out of 5. If you had to give one,
I'm not.
Oh
no, Drop had to freeze at
Oh,
the very
no.
end.
Well,
Drop froze.
I don't really like doing rating. To be honest, I'll either say it's
Okay.
There you go.
hopefully.
Now you're back.
You're back for us now. We back and we hear you. And
Okay,
see you.
so
Yeah.
like I was saying, I don't really do ratings. I don't really like doing ratings. It's because I'll either say something's great, it's good, it's all right, or it really wasn't there. This was besides what I mentioned, I thought this pay-per-view was all right. I'll say that. It had its moments.
Yeah.
Obviously, The Rock, Roman and Cody teaming up, and Drew and Punk's match was probably the highlight for me. So it was all right.
Word.
How about you, Walkers? You
Yep.
do have a rating or not as well?
See, I'm just gonna say no rating because things can change, especially with like B pay-per-views like this. Yeah, I'm gonna say pay-per-views because eat me, bite me with that one. But like, yeah, it's like it's hard because like a lot of factors could change how you feel about a certain match or a certain time. So like, whatever they do moving forward with like, let's take the whole like Gunther Goldberg thing for example. Depending on what they do moving forward with that, kind of alters how you look at this segment right here. So
Mhm.
I'm gonna hold off on a rating for right now, because yeah,
Okay.
I'm just gonna hold off. But you know what? We have reached the end of our show. We have reached the end of times, and in case anybody wanted to talk to us or interact with us or check out any of the other stuff that we could do, there are plenty of places that you could be doing that, but I can't be the one to tell you that. I don't know where they're at. I'm a big old dum dum. I don't know where to go to look at all these things or where they're located. If only there was a visionary, if only there was a legend that could guide me towards the salvation of where I can find all of our links to the socials, to the channels. What if only there was a visionary to show me this?
What? I heard my name out here, the visionary that could guide you to the world of Laugh Tale. We got the grilled cheeseburgers, the Archie car. Big shout out to him. You've been on the chat below with here talking to us. And if you hear down the chat, then you already know where to find us because you're here at the spin-off channel of Anima We Studio presented by for Weebs of the Ring. The Weebs of the Ring has its own spin-off channel now that we will be bringing you a new show, Grappling of the Week, talking about all news, AW, New Japan, and other promotional stuff coming out of the pro wrestling world. Additionally, check out our social media at hashtag Weebs of the Ring. Maybe search up Weebs of the Ring at our social medias, TikTok, IG, Twitter, everywhere else, because there will be content, there will be interviews approaching, and all the links are down below to find us on all the social medias outlet down in the description on the YouTube side. And don't forget, we will be having our YouTube, not YouTube, we will be having our podcast feed soon. By next week's SmackDown, I'll say the latest. The earliest Monday Night Raw, maybe by Tuesday NXT, but latest this Friday Night SmackDown, we will have our podcast feed in the description down below. So stay tuned for that because all 40 to 70 shows will be already up there on the podcast feed. If you ever want to go back on your commute to check out the audio feed, if not, you could be up to date and current on the YouTube side already.
Coolio. All right. Well, hey, we're going to take some time to thank you for coming out and taking time out of your day to listen to the Weebs of the Ring podcast. If you enjoyed what we had to say, why not do exactly what Vash just told you to do? We are known as Anima We Studio on all social media platforms. Just remember, that's We with a 3. And also search us at Weebs of the Ring as we are now branching off and creating a fun little side part of Anima We Studio. So go ahead and check out our new socials for that as well. Again, we're known as Weebs of the Ring on those social media platforms. Also use the hashtag Weebs of the Ring to interact with us before, during, or after any of these wrestling events. And feedback, as always, is appreciated because we are nothing without you guys tuning in. Weebs of the Ring is presented to you by Anima We Studio. Thanks again to our production team of Vash, Watkins, Drop This Box, Rome, and Jokester, as well as JB and Abe for all the things you guys do in the back. Thank you for joining us, and remember, as always, no stunt grenades were harmed in the recording of this podcast. Have a good night, everybody.
Have a good one, guys. See you on Monday.
Bye, guys.
For 2 hour Raw. Oh my God, Raw's 2 hours on Monday. Thank Christ.
Mm.